course,
Connor
Joe.
joins
Of
in.
course, Joe is telling Connor that he blew it.
Yeah,
Like
I blew it. I didn't.
Blew his
forget
ACL.
the show
I
sheet.
know.
Oh man, you went there again, Joe?
Yeah,
Come
see,
on.
It's gonna
like,
be Bryce Love, bro.
Like he didn't even need to say it, but underlying, he's like, "Yeah, you blew it, man. You really totally blew it." Just hoping like you catch it subconsciously.
Just keeps saying it. It's like he's poking the fucking ACL himself.
Bryce bottle service love.
Ooh, the alliteration too.
Oh, man. Well, I'm about to come back like Bryce Love, bro. Just wait on it.
When are we
Sleeper
going
season
on?
out here.
When are we going on?
Hey guys, I want to pass something by you. And Gabe, you're in the league. I don't even care, so you don't need to say anything.
Are you on the clock?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
So it's Superflex, 1.75 tight end premium. I'm kind of sitting between George Kittle, Aaron Rodgers, or Julio Jones.
Oh, you're boring us.
Is that really boring?
Is that out loud? Sorry.
What? Who did you say? Kittle, Rodgers, and who? Julio?
Julio? I mean, Tyreek is still there, but there's too many questions there.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you who I was thinking about alternatively to the
Kittle?
real Dangerous.
Kittle?
No.
Rodgers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was because I honestly, that's why I took like a minute after my pick. I was like talking bullshit that I was going to take Russell Wilson kind of. And then I went to the 80 or the live draft page and I saw that Rodgers was there and I thought he was way gone already in the first round or early second or something. So
yeah, this is what pick is this? Like 211?
Yeah, he should be gone by now.
I also don't love taking quarterback early just because it's so deep, you know. And also like with these guys, how many quarterbacks have gone? 4 in the first 2 rounds?
Yeah, what was it?
Watson,
Patty,
Russ,
Baker, Russ,
and Mahomes.
Luck.
Oh, Luck. So 5.
Watson 5. Yep.
Man, Rodgers is quarterback 6s. But that's definitely like the end of a tier break too.
I'd say so. Just do it.
What do you guys think?
Go get Kittle. Go get Kittle.
Wait, what round is this?
Spend a second
round
pick
2
on George Kittle. Do that.
But I also have like 2 more picks coming up.
Well, if this is what I think that it is, TA7, I'm pretty sure tight ends are like 1.75 points per reception.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not taking Kittle. I'm not taking Kittle.
No. Yeah. Even then, J Mike, you're still like, no.
Yeah, and I like Kittle, but I'm not taking there. I mean, I don't know. I think the pick is Julio because like there's still quarterback to be had down the way. But hey, do you boo boo?
Connor Payno, what do you think?
I don't know. For me, I think it depends on how you want to approach it strategically. I personally like taking a high quarterback and then like mixing in like a worse one or like one that I think with upside. Just like that's how I prefer my super flex roster builds. But like Kittle's awesome, and in that format, I wouldn't blame you for that too. And especially in Dynasty, I think he's only going to hold or retain value. Whereas like Rodgers, if he has another bad season, like his value might like plummet. So I mean, I think we've talked about it. Like we both think his value is going to bounce back, but you know, it's certainly a little bit of a risk, obviously.
Right. God damn, I'm stopped, man.
Decisions.
Well, you think about it. Well,
yeah, I will.
Do you have anything to say? Do you care at all? You said it was boring, so.
Well, are we okay? So super flex. You said who do you have right now?
It's between Rodgers, Julio Jones, or Kittle, and it's 1.75 tight end premium.
1.75. And is this who else do you have on your roster right now?
The first round I took Devontae Adams at 110 or something like that.
How many starters?
It's super flex, 1 to 6 running backs, 1 to 6 wide receivers, 1 to 6 tight ends.
And you have okay.
I can't believe all those running backs went then. Oh my god, you only have to start one.
That's why I'm just like I'm gonna punt
Holy
on running
shit.
back because unless one falls, you only have to start one.
I'm with Connor. Like I like to keep one open Like I like to, if I do get a stud quarterback, I'm not in a rush to like just lock in another one.
Yeah.
Man, that is kind of tough.
It's tough,
But
right?
it's dynasty though.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's redraft in April, Joe.
I mean, asking Jake that is probably in itself. I'm stalling. You notice I'm stalling. And 1.7.
Would it help to tell you that we're live?
Yes.
That we've been
No.
live?
Yes. Everything is clear now.
Start off talking about this kind of thing going live. Really? Okay. Maybe
I tried to not do that like right away, but Jake just took over. You know how the exec producer is.
All right, then just tank the pick. That's all I gotta say.
Perfect. I'll let the non-existent clock run out. That's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, like I said, you're boring me.
No, I appreciate the advice, Pino.
Man,
Great insight. It should be a great show.
Kittle, with 1.75, Kittle's a good pick.
Yeah.
What were we talking about right before Trade Addicts? Were we talking about anything interesting then? Or should we just start the show?
I think we should probably
God,
start.
I hate Gabe.
All right. What an intro. We are running strong this week. Pano, we actually are legitimately live. It's the open bar.
I can't trust you. I can't trust you.
Dude. It's 9:30 Eastern, man. Ish. Check your mentions, bro. I came up with a legendary, little tweet for you guys to retweet. Feel free to do that, Pano, unless you don't care. If you're just here,
I did retweet earlier. Okay,
when?
How many quote tweets and retweets are you asking for? I didn't know it was in my contract. I'm sorry.
Okay, you know what? Probation's gonna have to be extended this time. My goodness, it's a live time. We're so close to the draft. I can taste it. I don't know what else to say, J Mike. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to be a part of this crew tonight. It's gonna be Liddy City. How you doing, brother?
Situations abound. I'm pretty well, sir. I am excited to be back, specifically with this crew. This is like this is almost like back to when we were backpackers crew. Back when Pano was, just a little known person on Twitter. Back when he had like 3 kids instead of 15. Back when Connor was Colin, and back when he was the Matrix.
Man, that just hit me too. Oh man.
This takes me back to a simpler time of the open bar when everything was fresh and new, and this really makes my heart happy. So I'm happy to be here. This is great.
Man, your voice is so soothing. I almost whoa. It's like, whew. I don't know how your wife can handle that. It's like super heavy right there. That voice. I'm feeling good too, man. I'm glad.
Pano's coming out hot and heavy like Katie did a couple weeks ago.
I'm just excited to be with you guys, man. It's been a while. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're happy that you were a good boy on parole, and we could get you back on the show. So good job, Pano.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Like I said, I took some time in the off season to really, take some time, and I read Astro Ball. I'm a changed man.
I did not know that. Did you say that already, or is that the first time you're mentioning it?
First time.
It'll probably be the last too.
What are you drinking, Pano?
Did I mention it's so good to see you guys? And just, get my balls busted, right? Right off the bat. That's how I like it. What am I drinking?
Yeah.
I'm drinking a Dogfish Head Sea Quench Ale Session Sour.
Wow.
It's got lime juice, lime peel, black limes, and sea salt. Yeah. Good after a soccer game,
There's more names in the title of that beer than you have kids, man.
Almost. On
to the exec producer. How is you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just with zero help from you guys. I'm just sitting on the clock, and all my league mates are pissed, probably in the chat, just screaming at me, to make my pick, but everything is good.
They're in our chat at this point. I think.
Well, that's what I'm
get a
saying.
pass.
Are you acknowledging that there's a chat?
Oh shit!
Oh,
I forget every
it's
time.
all over.
2019. He's a new man. He's a new man, Jake.
It's true. Turn a new leaf. I'm 2 days sober.
Somebody get this man a sober chip, please.
Oh. That's fantastic.
Clear mind, full heart. Can't lose. Connor, Colin. I don't remember the Colin joke exactly. Like there's so many times where people just like throw names out. Like I've called Russ Rich. I've J Mike's called. Did you do the Colin one? Was that you?
I'm pretty confident that was totally me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So J Mike
He just rolled with it and was good.
God, what a gentleman.
It just kind of happened mid-episode. He was Connor, Colin. And
Colin.
it just kept going.
Yeah, I don't know who called you out on it, but after a while, someone's like, "Who are you talking to?" Like,
I was a young man then. I'm now mature in my ways. Connor.
Well, happy to have you, Connor. Happy to have you back.
Yeah, it's nice to be back on, man.
Sorry to hear the news about, the thing that Pano likes to talk about more than other people.
Yeah. I'm recovering, it's all right, but I'll be back for the 2020 season.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a 6th to 9th month recovery, so we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cadaver? Did you go Cadaver?
I haven't even gotten surgery yet. It's been so fresh. I have to do like pre-surgery rehab to get my motion back to reduce scar tissue, and then getting surgery sometime probably like next week or something.
Okay.
So
well,
yeah.
Listen, Gabe, if you don't want to say it, I will. Listen, Connor, if you're not out there running for 1,000 yards this season, then I can just go ahead and tell you that the rest of the season, the rest of your career, it's washed. I mean, you can flush TQE down the drain, and you might as well change your handle on Twitter back to Matrix, and just be who you were meant to be if you don't get it done.
Cadaver Allen, NFL.
Oh, no. Yeah, got to make sure I stay on brand there.
So real quick, Jake, the chat is already lit all the way up. Good evening, everyone. Shout out to all of you guys for showing us love this evening. First one in the chat, Jake's better half, Peter Howard. What's up, Peter?
Much better half.
The the committed one, Aaron. What's up, Aaron B? Aaron's in the building. Super Duper Flex is in the building. The great Mr. Ryan McDowell. What up, Ryan? Ryan said you should take Kittle, FYI.
That's exactly what I was about to do.
Larry Monkey's in the building. What's up, Larry? And what did we say, Fuoco or Fuego? Which one did we land on, Gabe?
I'm still on Fuoco. He can call himself whatever he wants, but we know what it is.
The Italian flame himself, Fuoco Frank. He's in the building as well. So somebody threw out, and folks are throwing this out. Larry Monkey asks if Amari Cooper is gone for you right there in that spot that you're in, Jake.
No, he's still there.
Yeah, he'll be there till like round 4.
Yeah. I mean, I would take Julio over Amari for sure.
What about Diggs?
Keenan Allen out
Diggs
there.
is there. Keenan Allen is there.
It's super flex with tight end premium. There's a lot of guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I got a couple picks coming up. I think I'm just going to grab Kittle and then see what falls.
Fair enough. So all you guys that were taking Aaron Rodgers there, since apparently we love him still, are we? Does none of the stuff from that piece from Bleacher Report make you guys nervous at all with the change in the offense and everything? Is it just like wheels up, Aaron, let's go?
For me, yeah.
Yeah, he's still really good.
I think he's better than actually. I don't know. I think that they're going to be aggressive in the draft. I think to surround him with some talent. That's how I feel. But I don't know about you guys.
I'm curious what I feel like. This is the first time in a while that he's had maybe a depleted wide receiver core. I mean, last year was as well, but I think this is nearly a repeat. And but he's always had like a good 2 top 24 guys kind of in his artillery. So I don't know. I'm
no,
curious.
no disrespect to Ryan McDowell, but Cobb has been kind of, not so great lately last year. So
Yeah.
I think that they're
And
going to
he's
be
down.
aggressive in the draft. They'll grab somebody in the first couple rounds.
I think it
They
can
just
happen. I've seen your boy Metcalf go there.
Yeah. I'm not alone here. I'm not sitting at the table by myself on this one.
I mean, there's plenty of guys though that could go. I mean, the first couple rounds that they could go after. So I think they could make a difference, and free up Devontae a little bit.
Yeah, I think realistically, there's probably like 10-ish guys in this draft that they could snag in the first 3 rounds that would probably see starting time for them. So I think any of those guys are pretty viable from the get-go. This guy, I don't know who it was on Twitter, but I went, down the rabbit hole and found someone who basically tweeted out all the different thresholds that the Packers have or have used over the past years and how, like, which players have taken visits there and match up with those thresholds. Basically, like, I don't know, kind of trying to guess which ones they'll pick. I'll share that link later, but it was pretty cool. It was like N'Keal Harry. It was like wide receivers had to be like a certain height, and they used a lot of like the older thresholds. Like it seemed like, kind of old football guy stuff where like they had to be this height, this weight, and otherwise they probably weren't even going to look at them.
And they typically you go through their draft history too, and it always seems to be like a 3rd, 4th, 5th round type of guy that they're going for. What Devontae Adams was like a 2nd rounder, and that's like a reach for them. So
he sucked for like 2 years too.
Yeah,
so,
that too.
You know what I mean, like, he was like awful.
what kind of wide receiver do you think that the Packers would be targeting?
They need a speed, like a deep threat. They could legitimately grab like Hakeem Butler or something new, like on the outside and the inside. Or they could go like Emmanuel Hall if they wanted to wait later and somebody to, be a speed threat on the outside. I mean, Devontae goes all over the field, but he's, obviously dominant in the slot as well. So, I think giving him some diversity, I think is important. I think I actually read something recently. I have to look for the link, but where they want somebody who is, good in the slot, but also good on the outside as well. Like I said, just somebody that's versatile, not necessarily just a standard slot receiver, because obviously Devontae can go in the middle as well. So he can get away from that man coverage of like the number 1 guy, because not everybody will travel. But it's good to have some versatility in that offense, especially. So
Do you think Harry and Adams,
then, right, Jake?
I think Metcalf would be fantastic in that offense. He could
only
play
runs on the
that
right
Jordy
side,
Nelson
though, right?
role. What?
He only runs on
God,
the right
maybe
side, right?
Left side.
Left side? Yeah, whichever
Left
side. One of them.
Completely
The east side.
overblown, but yeah.
yeah, he's not exactly fitting like the versatility part, but he is fitting like the dominant downfield receiver. That would be awesome to see, Aaron Rodgers throwing to DK Metcalf and Devontae just all over the field. That'd be freaking awesome. Because, I mean, there's no way you could just focus all your energy on Devontae then. That'd be amazing.
I think we're hoping that any of our favorite wide receivers go to Green Bay or Indianapolis. That's basically what it boils down to.
Indianapolis is a little more interesting to me because, I mean, not more interesting, but like a little more tricky because Funchess is going to be in the slot. Ebron is, kind of getting the squeeze a little bit in terms of targets. He's, Doyle coming back and then him being so much in the slot before. So it's, then you have T.Y. Hilton. So the Colts are like definitely sexy, but I don't know, depending on who they grab, that's going to be that he's going to be as exciting as we think. You know what I mean?
What other teams do you think would be exciting then?
I'm definitely Green Bay over the Colts in terms of like immediate impact. Although they would definitely, Colts would be like awesome probably for best ball and stuff, and maybe dynasty. But let me think.
The Ravens got to be the Ravens.
Oh,
Gosh, I really actually I've seen a lot of people talk about them grabbing a receiver early. I just don't see it. I don't think
I see all the receivers visiting there too, like, and it's just scaring me every single time.
I mean, if they do, it's like I don't know, mostly for a decoy, maybe deep threat or something like that. But I don't think he's going to get maximized like there at all. It would be more as like a decoy.
No.
I actually kind of think that they're going to take a wide receiver like semi early, but I mean, his fantasy value is going to be like nothing, but that's pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they do. Yeah. But then again, it's like, do they take a deep threat, or are they going to take somebody who can like block, who can like, be like a deep threat, also I like his blocking ability. So when we run Ingram and Lamar Jackson and stuff, like, I don't know, that would be tilting as hell.
I can't remember what podcast was talking about them running like 14 personnel, 14-man personnel.
Yeah, just pick another tight end, and then they'll just have 4 tight ends on the field all the
time. Are we just throwing all of the 2018 draft picks for the Green Bay Packers in the trash at this point? MVS, ESB, and Jamon Moore.
And everyone's favorite sleeper, Geronimo Allison.
Yeah. And it's not even that I like those guys, but it's still, I still find it, like you said, Pano, you were talking about the Colts offense being tricky. I think that the same can be said for Green Bay in terms of, say they take whomever at the end of round 1, right? So let's just say for kicks, they take DK at the end of round 1 at 30 overall. If that's the case, okay, so obviously we like him better than those 3 guys, it would seem. How high are you guys willing to take DK at that point in your rookie drafts? If he lands with Aaron Rodgers,
can he go higher? Can he go higher than 101?
I mean, that's the dream spot. Yeah, I mean, can't get better than that.
Could that happen to any one of those guys between Harry, Butler, Metcalf?
Exactly.
Like, does it even matter as long as it's one of them in the first round? Is that the 101? If Paris Campbell lands at the end of the first?
That simulation mock that we ran from Dane Brugler's 7th round, we did that dynasty mock. Paris Campbell went to the Packers at the end of the first round, and he got taken 104 in a Superflex dynasty mock. So I think any of those top 5-ish wide receivers gets taken in the first round by the Packers, I mean, they're flying up. I mean, obviously, Harry can't really get higher. DK, I think DK's fallen a little bit. But, man, the Butler people would go insane because I feel like DK was like the early super hype wide receiver, and now it's Butler. And, Harry's just kind of been there.
It's always been Harry, baby.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think Adams and Harry would kind of fulfill a similar role, don't you think, in that offense?
That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I like Harry a lot, but ideally, yeah, you want somebody a little more versatile than what I see Harry projecting, at least early on. I think he's kind of.
I love Harry out of the slot. Yeah, big slot, I think that'd be fantastic. But I think he can play outside too. So I think Harry actually does have some decent versatility because he does have alignments all over the field at Arizona State, at least. Yep.
I mean, he definitely can. I mean, I was looking at even his deep targets and stuff. He's good downfield. I think he
had more 20-yard receptions than Hollywood Brown did.
He made the most of them. Like, I think he only had 9 deep catches, or he had 18 deep targets according to Pro Football Focus. So he didn't get a ton, honestly, in comparison. 276 yards, 4 touchdowns. He maximized it. He had a 135 rating on deep targets, but he definitely didn't get deep targets like Hakeem Butler or some of the other guys. But he made the most of them.
Yeah, I mean, that quarterback was such trash, and they were, basically giving him screens and end arounds and put him in the Wildcat. It was basically, what can we do to get N'Keal Harry the ball? Right. Because we really don't have the passing attack to support him.
And some people are using that as almost like a knock against him, like, oh, he's like, he's used on screens or like different routes too much, all that stuff. And I kind of think it shows more to his versatility of like what he can be. And them showing that he's more important. Like he was a really important part of their offense, obviously. So I don't know. I have Harry as my number 1 guy right now, but honestly, I'm not really sold between like him, Butler, DK Metcalf. I think all of them have a legitimate case to be the 101, especially after the draft. Like if one of them lands in one of those good situations, I think it'll totally shift things, especially for me.
Yeah, I mean, we can all joust as much as we want pre-draft, but I mean, once the draft comes, it's definitely gonna, make things a little more clear for sure.
I think people did generally overreact a bit, though, don't you think? I mean, landing spot is obviously it's super important, but I think it's also important to have a process where you have a good understanding of who these prospects are and what they are. And because people that don't have a process or really particularly pay close attention, the landing spots are like everything to them. And I think it does get a bit like in that mock, Harry went to the Jags in the top of the second round. He got taken at 110, I think. So I mean, people, and Isabella went I think second or third round to the Chiefs. He went at 105.
Oh,
so did you post those full results anywhere, Jake?
I mean, honestly, I don't have a problem with that. If necessarily, if he goes to the Chiefs or something like that, wheels up.
Yeah, but don't you need some clarity about the Tyreek Hill situation before you take him that high? I mean, we don't. I mean, there's talk about him being suspended, but
what I'm saying is that makes a huge difference, though. I mean, if he's going to go to the Chiefs or something like that, I mean, that would make a pretty big difference to me.
For the Harry thing, though, if he's going to the Jags, I almost there's no way you can bump him all the way down to 110. You could be I would say I mean, as long as there weren't a ton of other people landing in crazy good spots, I'd say probably 105. I would have him at 104 because I mean the Jags aren't a great offense necessarily, but Foles should help. And he would immediately be their number one wideout and fight for 140 plus targets from a quarterback who's proven to be competent throughout his career at different times. Obviously he's had his downs, but lately we've seen him be good. So in that case, I'd be willing to take him in the top 5 picks as a rookie. I think that could be solid for him actually. But so I don't know. I'm kind of in the boat where you shouldn't overreact too much. You definitely should react, move it up a little bit depending on how you kind of see their role. But getting the context before, Jake was saying, of where they play, what kind of styles they play, then you can have a better understanding of how they would fit into that offense. So if you see a guy drafted where he wouldn't have a spot in that offense, or not necessarily fit well, you can kind of question it and then maybe drop him a little bit more than he normally would. But at least that's kind of how I would approach it. Otherwise, I could try and keep him pretty much the same.
The other part about it is Lord Reeves, I think, does a really good job of grouping them in a bucket of archetypes and stuff, just the types of players that they are, and kind of knowing okay, this guy's an arbitrage version of this player and this type of archetype, and that way you kind of have a process when you're, I don't know, whether or not you want to reach on a guy because you can get somebody a little bit cheaper a little bit later. And with this draft, I think it's really important because there are plenty of different type archetypes, receivers and different, slot guys, versatile receivers, the big, Hakeem Butler's, JJ Whiteside or Sega Whiteside or whatever. He's, there's a lot of guys that kind of you can get later that might fit that kind of bucket. Just stealing his words here. Trying to sound smart.
Yeah, he just did a 2-part episode with Matt Kelly that was really good. I mean, Rich hasn't really talked. He talked about I haven't talked about rookies at all, but his process is so sound.
Oh man, I've learned so much from him.
He's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I don't know. That's something that he's talked about. I don't know. I think a couple of years ago too. I listened to something he said. And that kind of it was the initial thought process. And I was like, man, it's so smart. And he's always ranked that way. But kind of implementing that yourself and trying to think like that is super helpful. So yeah, super sharp.
Mm-hmm. Can we defend David Montgomery for a little bit?
Ooh.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, you don't like David Montgomery?
I don't like him as much as you do, probably, but
no.
Ooh.
No, but let's do it. Let's do it. We can have a back and forth.
So at this point, yeah. what is Pano? And I'm curious of your take because I feel like a lot of folks like David Montgomery. I haven't heard too much Montgomery slander. One, where do you have him in your running back rankings? But also, what is the case kind of against him being as high as many have him?
Jake, do you want to start off, or do you want? Because I'm honestly coming at it from probably a different perspective, but I like him. It's just a matter of where I'm expecting, I guess, him to go in the draft necessarily versus maybe I don't like him as much as other people. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's probably my 4th running back or something like that. Maybe 5th. I'm not sure. Where do you have him?
Maybe even 6th.
I have him RB1 still.
Really?
And I think Jacobs is putting some heat on him, and I think it's been that way for a long time. I don't know. I think the explosiveness is being a little bit overdone. I think he's just such a natural running back and has such a good feel for the position. Contact balance is lights out. I think his agility is really good. I think people say he dances a lot. I think people downplay the offensive line concerns at Iowa State. Like, he had defenders in the backfield constantly.
Yeah.
Kind of like Barkley did. Like, people said Barkley danced in the backfield too, but that was partially because his offensive line was so bad. But I think the main factor here is David Montgomery is a really good pass catcher too. And I think he was, according to PFF, he was one of the top pass blockers as well. So as far as being like a feature back and projecting that to the next level, I think he's about as safe as it gets. Now, where he gets drafted, if he falls to the 3rd round, does he fall to the 4th round? Where does he go? I know the Dynasty Dummies did a really good podcast a couple weeks ago about there not really being a whole lot of great landing spots for these running backs, and like trying to figure out where they're going to land and actually have a situation that's capable of being a 3-down back is highly questionable. But just as far as projecting these guys to the next level, I think he's the safest projection at the running back position. Now, is his upside super high? Maybe not, but I think he could definitely be a low-end running back 1, high-end RB2 at the next level.
Yeah, and honestly, like I probably came off kind of sounding like I don't like him. I was a little bit, when I was watching him, I do like him. And definitely, like, I mean, in terms of like forced missed tackles and everything, he was just blew up PFF's ratings and everything. So
I think it was like the 9th best ever in the last handful of years or something like that.
I'm pretty sure he's better than that. I think wasn't he like number 1 or something like that? I don't know.
Past 2 years, each of the past 2 seasons in the NCAA, he led the NCAA in forced missed tackles both years. I mean, yeah, he's just, the contact balance is unreal. Like, I like what Jake was saying too, kind of like from a fantasy perspective. I think that sometimes we kind of like get too focused on like how good of a player this, like how good like David Montgomery is going to be as a running back. As a running back, he's probably going to be fine. But as a fantasy player, I could see like he has a 3-down skill set to be an above average running back in the NFL. And that's something that if he lands on the right team, like he should, or like even a team that just like wants to use him like that, doesn't even need to be a good team. He's going to be an awesome fantasy asset. And his contact balance only helps that because he doesn't go down like right away. He's really shifty. He's a great pass catcher. I think that like it all adds up to me as a guy in this class that I think is especially weak, that has the highest floor and also has the ceiling to be like, you're like a fringe RB1 some seasons, as long as he's in like, on a team that is willing to give him that, and he has the skill set to do it. So athletic concerns are obviously there, but I think that some of the hate's getting overblown here.
So, I mean, I'm kind of confused, I guess, because I didn't really hear as much hate. I mean, except for maybe the athleticism, which kind of maybe dulled down the hype train a little bit. But so my conundrum is this: when I looking at him on film, like he's a really good player. I can definitely see all the positives there for sure, and I do see the 3-down skill set. Great in the passing game, and he's great in short areas and stuff like that. But when I'm looking at Josh Jacobs, who I have this conundrum where he doesn't have the production at all. But he looks like, I feel like Josh Jacobs on film looks like a better version of Montgomery.
Yeah, but put Montgomery in Alabama's backfield. I think it's,
and I don't think that's I think that's the whole thing. Is I don't think that's actually. I think it's the opposite. I think if you put Jacobs in Iowa State, I think he would crush it, because when you look at like their numbers, like he had, let's see, hold on, let me pull him up. Josh Jacobs forced like 0.27 missed tackles per attempt, which doesn't sound as great, but that's like, I don't know, 9th best in the class. When you look at Montgomery, he's 0.39, so much better, but like, in Iowa State versus, other defenses that aren't going to come close to playing against Alabama. Even I think Barfield was talking about how Josh Jacobs led. I know that the Alabama offensive line was really strong and one of the best he's charted, but he also was like 9th best, I think, in missed tackles forced or something like that. And since he's charted, I have to go back and double check that.
Can Josh Jacobs handle more than 200 touches in a season?
Well, that's the conundrum. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't really know. Josh Jacobs is, I mean,
no one knows. He's never done it in his entire life.
And he's not, and that's why he's not really my RB1.
Yeah, exactly.
Henderson is actually my RB1.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing.
Talk about
I'm ready. That's
wide
fine.
open holes to run through.
Oh,
yeah,
Jake,
and that's
stop it.
you know
Here we
there
go.
that's why this class is kind of very difficult to figure out who's the RB1, because honestly they're all pretty close, in that top group. But right now I have Henderson RB1 to Connor's dismay, and he's kind of sitting at the top right now, and I actually think I like Sanders as number 2 or number 3 probably. Jacobs might be 2. I'm not really sure. They're kind of like in the same kind of group. So we'll see where landing spot goes, but Henderson's my number 1 at this point, and I don't really have a problem with that.
I think this is really what's going to happen. Aside from the wide receiver talk that we had earlier about where they'll land and what happens if they all go to the Packers, then it's an automatic 101 or whatever. But I think the running backs, for how poor this class is, or at least in comparison to previous years, this is really dependent on the landing spot. I mean, if you've got David Montgomery on, I don't know, the Bucks, and then you've got your boy Darrell Henderson landing with
Houston.
Houston would be decent, I guess, but
that'd actually be a good land.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Except their offensive line is trash, and I don't know if he can
that's a
do
good
anything.
point.
I'm just saying maybe a more buried backfield that you're kind of like, that's a weird landing spot,
Right.
kind of like the Seahawks or something, like that's interesting. And maybe you would lean Montgomery just because, but I don't know. I'm curious to see. It's going to be a lot of day 2 running backs though.
I mean, Henderson, going back to Henderson, if you don't mind, like everybody's got a question, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like anybody's a clear cut RB1 at this point. I mean, we can all harp on, a certain statistic or a certain reason, but everybody we could probably have, poke a hole in each one of them. With Henderson, it's like, okay, he had huge running holes, that were opened up by his offensive line. But, he also was diversified in the passing game. They moved him around like 25% of the snaps in the slot or in the outside, I think. And I listened to Graham Barfield's podcast. You guys should check it out with Josh Norris. I caught it, like just a little bit of it. So I want to go back and dig into it. But I think it was Barkley, McCaffrey, Kamara, maybe one other back that actually ran out of the slot and out of the outside more than Henderson, but I think he was right behind them. So that's something that when I was watching, I saw a little bit of that, but I didn't really get to get like a great feel for the actual number. And to put a number on that is pretty interesting, because you're looking for that. That's the wild card as like for a running back. And that's what I'm looking for. We saw Josh Jacobs do that a little bit, not a ton. He didn't get a ton of targets, but he was used a lot in that way. They were motioning him and stuff like that. So there's potential, but with Henderson, that could be, a real X factor in his game. And honestly, he's just got that initial burst. I think if he has a decent offensive line, that might be important, like Jake said, but I don't know, man. I really like Darrell Henderson, I think, more than the average guy.
I think you're hoping Henderson can be a Tevin Coleman type of player, like a 1B that gets utilized correctly, that gets put in space. We hope for so long that, once Tevin Coleman gets his chance at like leading a backfield, he's going to take off. But like, he's just not that kind of player. His vision is lacking. His lateral agility isn't great. Like, he needs space to use his explosiveness a little bit more north and south explosive than east and west. And that's also pass protection. Pass protection is a huge question.
Real quick, Atlanta's offensive line was trash last year. Oh my God. Carry on. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, J Mike, speak up, man. Speak up. Keep it
No,
going.
I mean, I think pass protection is a huge question mark for Darrell Henderson. He didn't ask to do it that much, but NFL teams care about that a lot. Tony Pollard was the pass catching back in that offense.
He was also like a receiver too. I mean, He was kind of like he was a former receiver, and they used him all over the place. And you can't really call him like a running back. Like he was kind of like, the way they used him in that offense was borderline receiver. He was still kind of like a receiver running back. So it wasn't like that average like catching back. And Darrell Henderson still caught like 20 something balls. So
19 this past year.
Yeah, the year before that.
The year before.
Yeah, so I'm saying like he still was catching passes.
I agree that he's kind of underrated in the past. Like you remember that sideline catch that he made downfield where he just to it, twisted body. Like he does show flashes of like being able to be used as that kind of chess piece. But like if that chess piece doesn't go to the right offense, I think it's really scary, and I think his floor is really low. But again, he goes to a good offense that knows how to scheme him. I think his upside's huge, and I get that. But
and I'm more
it's
like
riskier than people are saying.
And this is where I have to go back and reread Astro Ball because I get really excited about upside. I get really it's number 2. Yeah, I mean I'm a changed man, guys. I'm a changed man. No, really, like I really focus on upside, and I have to make sure that I'm aware that it's not always going to go the way that I'm envisioning it, and he's not going to get maybe utilized the way that I'm envisioning it. But when I did watch him and I look at the numbers and I look at the statistics and stuff, that's a part of his game that screams a high efficient player. He's a big play type of player, and if you can get him utilized in the passing game like that in NFL offense, then that's like the trump card right there. I mean, that's why Kamara was. I mean, he's not in the same tier as Kamara, but that's what makes the difference with Kamara is because they use him all over the field, and that he can get those targets and stuff like that. And that obviously worked out well because he went to the Saints, so has to have like a good offensive fit for him. So I'm not going to lock in on him, but that's what I'm envisioning, like his ceiling, not Kamara like, but he has like a higher ceiling than Montgomery in my mind, unless Montgomery gets like the full load. You know what I mean?
I actually had Henderson as like my RB6 for like a while.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm not even afraid to admit it because I wasn't aware his 10-yard and 20-yard splits were like really good because realistically his speed doesn't translate that well. He's like 73rd percentile speed score, which is fine, but that's all he relied on, which is pretty much running straight through giant holes. All of his all of his metrics and stuff, they're like yards after contact, like explosive run rate, like all that stuff, like really holds like pretty much no weight for me because he was basically just like running through big holes and then having to juke like safeties and then running another 50 yards to the end zone. So yeah, maybe the safety got a hand.
Really? Like you just.
Wow. Yeah, I mean it's pretty much meaningless to me, to be honest. Like it was like I'm dead serious.
That's all he did.
When he was forced to create in like a little space, he could not do it. He was like inept, like a bottom 5 in his class.
And he's not breaking tackles. He has a full head of speed.
If he faces any controversy behind the line of scrimmage, he's toast. He just does nothing.
There is some truth to that. Like I don't see him as a player. I don't see him as a player that's going to get stopped. Like who could get stopped behind the line of scrimmage and be screwed? I could see that.
And that's to me is something that like is important. And that obviously comes into like what I've talked about with you is like what you value as like an evaluator and like how you think his skill set translates to the next level. I agree that his upside is super high, but for me, like the floor is so low. And I know I'm out on a limb on this. And like a lot of what I'm saying here is a little bit different, but this is something when I was watching the film, I was just kind of like, yeah, I guess he ran fast, straight past.
Not really. I mean, being your RB5 is not that like a lot of people have RB4.
I moved him up, so like he's
I have him RB4 too.
Yeah, so I'm saying you're pretty much in line. You're pretty much in line. I think I'm the weirdo. Like honestly, like that's the thing is like I'm the one coming out saying like I like him as my RB1, but I have them in a very similar group, so it's not like what I mean. Like I like the upside, but I can completely agree with you that if he goes to a team that has a pretty shitty offensive line, even though offensive line don't matter for everything for running backs in terms of fantasy, but he could definitely be, and he could suck at pass blocking and stuff. And maybe they don't use him in, the passing game the way that we're talking about and stuff. And his floor is super low. You're right. So there's definitely a low floor for him, but I'm looking for the ceiling and we'll see how the draft goes. I think his draft cap, I think he will get drafted though in the first 3 rounds, probably the second. So that's kind of another thing. We have to be realistic about draft position and draft capital. I mean, Russell Clay has done a ton of work on this where if you're a first round pick, which, we might not see a first round pick this year. Maybe Jacobs gets in there. I don't know. Maybe one of them does. But if you're a first round pick, I think you have like an 80% chance of getting at least one 1,000-yard season, like total yards from scrimmage. If you are a third round pick, if we're talking 2 years, you have, I think it's 40% chance. I have to look up the numbers, but it falls off the cliff after the 4th round. If you hit the 4th round, you have a 7% chance of having 2 years of 1,000 yards from scrimmage, 2 seasons of that. So you're pretty much an outlier at that point. So Kalen Ballage and all those guys, they have a 7% chance of having 2 seasons of 1,000 yards. So we have to keep in mind who the NFL likes. If the NFL is drafting, if they get drafted in the 3rd round or higher, that's good. If after that, that's an outlier.
Yeah.
So I have to keep that in mind.
That's go ahead, Jay Mike.
No, I was just going to toss out real quick. I was listening to a podcast with Matt Wallman the other day, and I can't remember if it was one spot that he was guesting on or if it was actual Football Guys pod, but either way, he was talking about Darrell Henderson, and he was saying Henderson is the type of guy that if he lands in one of those spread offenses in the NFL where they allow him to be able to leverage his talents in space and get him in those angles and whatnot, he's someone who could really pay huge dividends in the NFL. So like you were saying, Payno, if he's in the right spot, if he lands in the right area to allow him to be able to leverage that space similar to the way he did in Memphis, golly, that could be really dangerous. Really dangerous.
Yes, sir.
Chiefs.
Thanks, Mike.
Chiefs, do it, Chiefs.
What do you guys think about
Damian Williams? Kill.
Yeah, about Damian Williams. What do you think about his
Gross.
chances here? How are you guys?
I can say gross.
Harris is my RB 7, but it's basically a floor type of ranking. I think he's relatively safe. He'll probably get drafted in the 3rd round, probably. I think he's more of a.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Chiefs running back. I'm so confused.
I thought Connor said Damian Williams.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You did?
Yeah, man,
yeah.
You're confusing the
I
hell
thought
out
you
of
said
me.
Damian Harris.
Damian's. I'm sorry, man. It was.
I got you. Don't get
talking
Gabe
about-
started
do we
on
think the
Damian
Chiefs will
Harris
draft? Do we
or
think the Chiefs?
Damian Williams.
Yeah,
Damian
I
Harris,
would
do you
much
think
rather
Damian
talk
Harris-
about Harris for hours rather than Damian Williams.
Montgomery to the Chiefs. We can move on.
Stop it. Stop it.
He'd be so perfect there.
Yeah.
Connor, we can touch on
Harris
either
is
one of
so
those guys. Who did you want to talk about?
I was just curious if you thought that the Chiefs would draft a running back, because I'm pretty firmly in the boat that they're going to be, considering they paid the Damian on the Chiefs pretty much backup money or low end starter money. So I'm pretty confident that they're going to draft a running back sometime.
I think day 2's the mark. I think 3rd round. I mean, they got Kareem Hunt. They traded up for Kareem Hunt in the 3rd round.
Yep.
I think they're going to try to have the same kind of success, because even though this running back class is weak, I think there is going to be some nice value picks in the 3rd round. And we saw that again in Dane Brugler's mock. In the 3rd round, all these good teams with good running backs are snagging these running back because they're good value and they could use some depth. Montgomery went to the Vikings in the 3rd round. Miles Sanders went to the Panthers in the 3rd round. For fantasy purposes, just awful. But we could see that where teams are saying, well, we could use more depth at running back. We feel like this talent is, being slept on a little bit in the 3rd round. We just hope, cross our fingers that some of these teams that could actually use a running back, snag that value there.
Julio Jones, huh, Jake?
The chat.
I
was
took
overlooked.
Julio in the 3rd round. Yes, sir.
Hey, I wanted to just clarify this Russell Clay historical data real fast because I didn't really give you exact numbers. So
You did
If
just
you-
kind of throw some numbers out there, didn't you, Payne?
yeah, that's what I'm good at, is just throwing shit out there. It's
7%. Meh.
yeah. Well, actually, that was right, but 7.4%. So okay, so
Ooh.
if you have been if you're drafted in the 1st round, let's just go with 2 seasons. So if you're drafted in the 1st round, the NFL draft, you have a 63.8% chance of having 2 1,000-yard seasons. If you're drafted in the second round, you have 31.9% chance of having 2 seasons of 1,000 yards from scrimmage. If you're drafted in the third round, it goes to 24%. If you go in the fourth round, that's where the cliff falls off, is 7.4%, which I did say 7%. So that's good. Fifth round, 5%, you know, and it keeps going down. So yeah, you want to be drafted in the first 3 rounds just of the NFL draft, just saying.
And that's what I was going to get to. I was going to talk about Madison a little bit. Like, he's my RB5 just from a film standpoint. Like, but it's also guarded because there's, you know, with that combine 40, I know he improved. I think he ran an unofficial 4.52 at his pro day. So I think he is more of a 4-5 type of running back. But like, I love his tape. I think he's so well rounded. But I think it's more than likely that he goes in round 4 or later, which is just killer. Like, I think that sucks, you know, because I like the player so much, but the combination of not being a lot of good landing spots out there and probably the lack of draft capital, he's a guy that's probably going to fall in my rankings, even though I just love his tape. He's probably going to be my John Kelly this year.
You look sad. You look really sad.
I am sad about it. 2 years in a row, just guys that I love. So later,
and you're gonna have to move up Darrell Henderson, which is gonna be awesome.
He's number 4. He's
gonna get drafted in like the second round, and you're gonna have to move him up. So suck it.
I don't know about that.
Somebody
sounds like an open bar bet.
Somebody that you got. Ooh,
yeah. Well, sorry, I read Astro Ball, guys. I'm gonna change that. To be conservative.
At least we have a title for the show tonight.
Yes.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So one guy that you guys did not necessarily bring up in this running back talk that the chat is overwhelmingly seeing as RB1 in this class. When I asked the question, they said pretty resoundingly, Miles Sanders.
Oh,
yeah. I have him top 3, borderline 2.
Yeah, he's my RB3 in the same tier as Montgomery and Jacobs.
He's got a good skill set. He like showed some good things. I thought like his tape. Honestly, I wasn't like overly pumped about his tape, but I thought that he showed like enough talent and traits that would like, you know, project to the next level, and that he's going to be pretty landing spot dependent for me. I don't think that him or actually like pretty much anyone in this class besides Josh Jacobs is capable really of beating out like a strong veteran presence for like significant work. That's kind of how I feel largely about pretty much everyone in this class. So
he's a guy that was like early in the process, like the first DLF mocks that we ran. He was a guy that I was taking in like the mid-second, and I like that value. I feel like the combine is another instance where people are overreacting to where he was previously, and now all of a sudden, a lot of people have him as their RB1, and I don't know if I'm going to be buying in on that type of cost.
That's fair.
All I know is he couldn't do squat against Kentucky, sucker.
Oh God! Should we talk about Benny Snell?
Ooh, look, you brought him up. I mean,
we're gonna go. How are we gonna go from
production
Sanders
through the roof?
Snell?
Because J Mike's loves Snell and he loves Kentucky.
Listen, I'm a Kentucky
Benny
fan.
Snail. Benny Snail.
Benny. What the best part about this is? My daughter was just given gifts from a friend of ours, and literally, just want to introduce you to the 2 newest members of our family, Bella Snell and Benny Snell. Yes. So you can slander all you want, but at my house, Benny and Bella get many draft capital level.
Oh man.
Forever my heart.
I bet that stuffed animal's faster.
Hey, listen, my man was not terrible at see, man. I'm not doing this.
I just hope Bryce Love is healthy and we can just draft him and be happy.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I hope. I wish. It'd be nice. It would make this class so much better. Just an extra boost. Man, he was so good a year before.
I don't know. It's tough recovering from those injuries, though. You know,
looking at you, yeah, you're one to talk. You're gonna be
At
out.
least he's
18
providing
months.
some context right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'll know, like, you know, in a few months, I'll know, be like, yeah, Bryce loves shot. He's got no chance. You know what I mean? Like,
If I can't recover
Hey.
this quickly,
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
sitting behind a keyboard. Yeah. Are you out there trying to? You know, I don't know.
It's
I'm
part of my
sorry,
daily
Connor.
diet, like recovery from ACLs, bottle service once a week, you know, like KFC pretty much every day. It's just kind of like how it goes.
KFC every day.
Service once a week.
I want to see some drills out of you. I want to see some like training videos coming out from bottle service over there.
All right, I got you.
Pano,
Give
I
me
don't
a-
know if you saw.
What?
I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but your man was. He came in the chat and
Uh-oh. Oh shit. I
he,
gotta-
he came
trouble.
in hot, bro. His first
Oh,
comment was
my.
Pano. He says Pano's still
God.
ugly AF. I see.
Why are you putting that shit out there, Waz? God. What are you doing?
And then he went to Twitter and he's really trying to ether you right here. Give me a second. I'll screen share this, and I just want to let
Really?
you know ahead of time.
Really?
I love you. I'm a fan of yours. But he was really trying to end you right here, like end you.
I'm really glad I came on. Really glad.
I'm just
really glad. Really glad.
he's trying to take
know-
your soul right here.
No, it's okay. I'm soulless, so it's all right. It's all right. Where's the Waz?
Oh,
man,
wow.
if I see you.
Oh wow.
I'm just saying.
Who does he look like right there? Reminds me of something.
That's actually a pretty good picture of me. I like that angle. Yeah. Yep. What the hell? What is that? That's wow. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's what I get for
I'm gonna
being
go
on
out on a
Twitter.
limb and say
I'm gonna
it's
go
going
back to
well.
having an avatar of like I don't
Yeah.
know, like a
You need to throw
egg,
that as your Abby, homie.
have an egg or something.
Yeah.
This is why Waz doesn't have his face up there. This is why he uses just some 3 letters. That's what it's pretty safe. So thanks, Waz. Appreciate it.
It's pretty safe.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna
sorry,
distort like the 3, WAZ. I'm distort it all crazy so it looks all funky and post it on his
that.
Twitter. Yeah.
Put it into the Microsoft Word art with like the the stretch on it.
Oh,
Can't even. So can I, since Gabe, I feel like oftentimes we have people on here who can actually talk rookies and we never get to it soon enough. This time we kind of jumped on it really, really quick, and I'm pretty proud of us.
I'm pretty sleepy.
And there's that. So before we kick rocks, I do want to ask just some lightning round questions for you extra smart fellers. And I just want your initial thoughts on whatever I say. So literally 1-word answers, nothing crazy. They're all around this draft class. Are you guys ready?
1 word. Let's do it. All right.
All right, Gabe, you're in this too. Okay.
Oh, cool.
All right. I just took, and again, these are going to be all over the place. I just took a peek at Daniel Jeremiah's latest mock draft, and one Daniel Jones is going 6th overall to the New York Giants. Daniel Jones going 6th overall makes you feel. Gabe.
Gabbert.
Connor.
Does that count?
Amazing.
Jake.
Unsurprised.
Pano.
dude, all I can see is that freaking picture, man. God, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm looking at this freaking alien picture of me, and I just want to freaking take Waz's head and smash it right now. Okay, I'm literally tilting. Thanks. What are we talking about? God.
Daniel Jones to the Giants at 6.
Oh my.
1-word response.
Daniel Jones can suck it. That's all I can say.
So Waz is your answer.
Freaking Waz. God, what is a Waz anyway?
What is a Waz?
Waz NFL. Waz NFL. Love you, Waz. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know. I'm tilting here. I'm just gonna shake it off though. That's what it's about. Just shaking it off. Shaking it off. Get trolls. It's cool.
Haterade, homie.
I'm gonna kill him.
One real quick. One of
It's so good.
I'm sorry.
Just wait till he does it to you, Jake. Your face is gonna look awesome when he blows that shit up.
I mean, you can't look any worse than that shit. So
No, you're right. You're right.
Pull it up again, Mike. Pull it up again.
No. Let's move on. Let's move on.
I want to
Let's
see it
move on.
again.
we gotta have an Abby bet now.
God, no, we're done
Do
with
the
that.
Abby bet with Henderson.
Seriously,
Second round.
I'm about to block him. So
Take a pick. Take a pick.
literally, as much as I love him, block him
60,
right now.
60 or earlier, Pano. 60 or earlier.
Who?
Henderson.
In terms of being drafted?
Yeah, overall.
Yeah, I'd say earlier.
All right, Jake. You want the over, right?
60?
Yeah.
I think that's not enough. I think it's got to be a little bit less than that.
You're such a wuss.
Yeah, he is. He is a wuss.
Wow.
He is a wuss. All that shit he was talking.
I
Yeah.
would
That's
say
the
like
first
45 to
round.
50 would
Yeah.
probably be like
I think
wide open holes, man. It's just got these wide open holes.
Just like the NFL draft is wide open. You get drafted in the first round or the sixth round. Who knows?
Sorry, I got to cover my face before I say anything.
well, the Giants are drafting Daniel Jones at number 6, so I'm sure Henderson can go whenever too. So
you want to have an Abby bet over Will Greer?
yeah, there we go.
Because you think he should go top 15. So
Pano's so shook.
I'm saying,
that's not a better look than that picture, by the way.
dude, it's better. It's better because, well, anyways.
You can't confirm that it's you.
Knees weak. Arms are heavy.
No, it just shows me that Waz loves me. That's all.
That's definitely the place that was coming from.
Was.
I can't, man.
You guys just
That's-
wait, man. Greer's the real deal, man. He's the real deal.
It's the real deal, man.
All right, over under 32 and a half. Let's see the bet here. We need it.
Ooh, yes. Let's
yeah,
get it.
32 and a half. Come on.
Realistically, he's probably going to be a second round pick, if anything. But I think he should go at the end of the first. I don't know if he will.
Fair, yeah.
I don't know if he will, but I think he should go at the end of the first. Like I said before, I think he's a borderline first round talent. I think that he is a first round talent if if he cleans up that footwork a little bit, which isn't a huge deal to me, but it is something that I think he needs to do. But he's also 24 years old, or will be 24 years old. So that's the thing is, like, I think he is the QB2 and clear QB2 in my opinion. But I think he is a borderline first round grade, or first round grade, just more towards the end of the first. But he'll probably end up going the second. So I'm not going to bet that he's going to go in the first.
I mean, I like Greer too, but I mean the age thing, and then I can't remember what podcast it was, but someone was talking about his strength.
What's the age thing? Wait, what's
He's
the age?
24.
I mean, it's the one. I mean, poking holes in it, but you'd rather him be a little bit younger, than being 24. But I think Carson Wentz was probably 24 and a half or so when he came out, right? Something like that. I mean, it's not a killer. It's not a killer, but it's definitely.
Brandon Whedon was like 28, man.
Chris Winkie was like somebody's granddad. I mean, come on.
Right. So, I mean, it's not like a positive. That's all. So, but anyways, I think that in terms of if we're going to talk about Greer, since we already are, he's accurate. And the thing that I love about Greer is when you watch him, like, he is killing it in the 2-minute drives. He's killing it on third downs. He's killing it in the end of the games, man. He just turns it up a notch. Like against Texas. Oh my God. Like he just took over. He took over that game.
That Oklahoma game was pretty fun too.
Yeah. I mean, and Kansas State, and he almost beat Oklahoma State, you mean?
No, it wasn't the Oklahoma game?
State. He didn't win the game, but he like brought him all the way back and almost did. Texas, he won. Texas, he beat them at the end of the game. Like he came back, like the whole second half they were battling, and he came back all the way at the end to lead them on that drive. He scored the touchdown and got the 2-point conversion to win it. That was versus Texas.
I thought the Oklahoma game was like 50 something to 40 something. But
I think you're thinking of Texas. But maybe it was Oklahoma too. I don't know. If he did that with Oklahoma too, then that's just another hat notch on his cap, but a feather in his cap. But yeah, No, man, he's just, I don't know. He's good. I mean, 76% adjusted completion percentage, 6th rated by PFF. Versus the blitz, he's number 3, 76.2 adjusted completion percentage versus the blitz. He can diagnose the blitz. The problem is when he gets pressure, his footwork goes to shit, and he won't like snap his hips, and like his feet are just like too wide, so he doesn't have any power. But he had the most power in the combine, like throwing velocity. So like he has the power, and he's got the accuracy. The problem is he's got to clean up the footwork when he gets rushed, when he gets pressured. But against the blitz,
he's got to be able to step into his throws too.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. That's the footwork. Because when you watch his stance, remember that late night Twitter dialogue we had where when he gets pressured, his stance is too wide, so he can't step into it. It's like a little mini like crow step, or not crow step, but it's like a mini step, and he can't snap his hips because he doesn't have anything to step into. So that's the one thing is like when he's pressured. But
that's a crazy thing because like a lot of the times like his ability, his footwork in the pocket and navigating the pocket and climbing the pocket is actually, I think, the best in the class.
Right.
But
it shows in the numbers too.
It's kind of all over the place at the same time. It's just
in a clean pocket, yeah. In a clean pocket. But the other thing is he's really good at diagnosing the blitz. So he's really smart pre-snap. So I mean, I think that really translates or should translate well to the NFL because he's not great against pressure yet, but he's really against the blitz and like recognizing pressure. So if you're good at recognizing pressure, you can, I mean, that's why he's so good. I feel like on third downs, because they're going to be blitzing him on third downs. He's really good at converting third downs and going against the blitz. He's like has perfect touch. Like when you're talking about like when you'll have like a blitz coming on the weak or the strong side, he can just throw those little, screen passes, or he can just diagnose the blitz and hit. He did it with Sills and Jennings. Like
he throws into some crazy tight windows too.
Yeah,
at times.
Yeah, and that's what he did at Texas at the end of the game. He like dropped it over Jennings' head and like just right in the bucket at the very back of the end zone. That was crazy. Like he did like a jump throw. It was nuts. I'll have to I've been meaning to tweet out like a thread about Grier because I just was like, okay, I have to defend him so much that I might as well tweet out some of the things that I'm seeing. So I'll tweet that out later, probably like later this week or something.
Also, all right, 59-56, Oklahoma beat West Virginia. Grier threw for 540 yards. So there you go.
Okay. What about Texas?
I didn't look up that much stuff, man. I'm sorry.
He threw for 346 against Texas.
But he also, when he won the game at the very end. That's the thing about Texas. Like the second half was ridiculous. What's that?
QB wins guy.
No, but you watch. I mean, you watch it. You watch it though. I mean, those are types of drives. Like, I mean, who cares about the gaudy stats? Like, if you're not gonna come up clutch at the end. I mean, he was just. I mean, he took over that game when it mattered. I mean, I see him doing it at the end of the half, like in the 2-minute drill and everything like that. Just wait. Okay, I'll get all these stats together later, and we don't have to talk about him too much. But I'm telling you, man, he's got balls, dude.
I think the Big 12 defenses though is part of it as well. His strength of schedule is pretty poor as far as the defenses he's facing. Like, I actually like Grier quite a bit. Like, he's my quarterback 4. I think he could be closer to quarterback 2. I just think from a fantasy perspective, I think Haskins and Locke have a higher. They're going to get drafted earlier, and I think they have a higher upside.
It's a shame. I mean, it might be right because honestly, like that's what I'm saying is like I don't know. The NFL might think that, and they're not always that great with quarterbacks. So it might be true, but I don't know. That's why I think like at the end of the first round, like a team like the Patriots or something would be smart to take Grier or like trade back in the second and take him or something like that. So it might not be like a great immediate future for him. I'm not sure. So. But I do think he's the real deal in terms of his accuracy and his mindset. He's just really good at like reactive on the field. He's just a smart quarterback. Anyways, we can move on.
To what?
One,
I don't know. I didn't want to like monopolize the whole time ranting about.
I mean, if I can, may, Mother may I. Great. So real quick, everyone. Again, one word
Back
answer.
to the one word thing.
Yeah. After Pano had a live meltdown, and everyone in the chat was just so excited. It was pretty lit when you did that.
When I got my face melted down, is that what you're saying?
No, when you melted down after. So I asked for the one word answers. Everybody gives one word, and then you come on and start losing it. I'm still looking at this picture. Oh my, that mother. Yeah, it was pretty good. The tight end one in this class for you is
Hog.
It's almost tied for me. I have Hawkinson at 1.
Nope.
Oh, this is
ties,
one
Jake.
word? Is this
No
one word?
ties. This is one word. No ties.
One word.
Oh.
Or I guess you could technically say tie for sure.
I'll say tie.
Sorry, Jay.
Tie. is
Absurd.
the word.
Tie who?
Nobody else wants any of that? Okay.
Hawk.
Hockaburger.
So almost universally. Where are you at, J Mike?
I really like Hawkinson too.
Wow, overwhelmingly.
I do. Pano?
I said Hawk. I was trying to be, short and sweet because you guys were yelling at me for, talking so much. Okay. Jerks.
I mean, it's better than tie, Jake.
So if we're talking, okay, I really, Fanton, Hawk are obviously in the top of the discussion. Hawk is, if we're looking at like yards per route run, he had a higher yards per route run. He had 744 receiving yards, 2.21 yards per route run. Fant had 2.15. So kind of splitting hairs a little bit. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, he's a better blocker, probably better NFL. It really just depends on like their usage, but Fant is obviously freaking crazy, freakish athlete. So I don't know. I think it's kind of splitting hairs.
I think Fant obviously has the higher upside, but Hawk is a safer prospect, like quite a bit safer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that Fant is the higher upside just because he's like a freak athlete, but
Hawk's going to be on the field though. A lot.
I mean, Hawk could have just as high
but
upside.
Hawk for fantasy purposes could very well be like not all that great. And if you're going to take a shot, if you're going to spend a first rounder in a rookie draft on a tight end, and I'm not knocking taking Hawk because I probably would too, but like I totally understand like taking that swing with Fant because Fant obviously could be a top 3, top 4 tight end. I don't know if Hawk has that in his range of outcomes. I think he's I like him a lot. I think he's a little bit overrated as a pass catcher. Like I think his yak ability is really good. I think his hands are solid, but I don't think it's anything spectacular. Like the Kittle comps and Gronk comps, I think are ridiculous for Kittle or for Hawk as far as fantasy purposes go. I think he's a little bit more of like an Owen Daniels type of player, which Owen Daniels was really good, when he was healthy and playing with Peyton Manning, but and in Houston, but I think he's just a little bit overrated in a fantasy perspective.
Okay,
I like him a lot as a player, though.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm trying not to, talk too much, guys. I'm letting everybody have the floor. Trying to be, I'm a changed man. Like I said, I'm a changed man.
Astro Ball, damn it.
Didn't say it. I didn't say it.
This is,
J Mike, can I ask a question?
Always.
One-word type of question. So, dynasty quarterbacks. Let's say super flex. You have to rank Kyler Murray right now. Where does he fall in your dynasty quarterbacks right now?
That's fun.
And it has to be. It can't be a range.
It
Uno
can't be
momento.
a
All right.
range.
No, it's got to be quarterback. This. Pick your number.
18.
I'll say quarterback. 12.
Wow.
Ooh, the spice.
Dude, I think he could be like a Baker Mayfield type of rise by next season.
Out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go top 10 right now.
That's
That's
kind of
fine.
where I want to go too, man.
I'll go 10 overall. I mean, yeah. All right. I'm one word. Sorry. 10.
No, I like that's spicy. That's spicy. But the fun thing is though, with Kingsbury's background, if you're projecting the offense to look as wide open as it did at Texas Tech, that's really spicy, man. But that could be a lot of fun because he's going to get the opportunity, obviously, to sling the ball a lot.
Well, imagine
as
Baker
well as use
with
his legs.
imagine Baker type of production from a passing standpoint, and add on like 50% of Lamar Jackson from a rushing standpoint.
Maybe even
Man.
like 75%.
Maybe
Like,
even 75%. Yeah, like he's really good at running, and he's not a run first quarterback either. But I just think if you're going to take a shot, like right now, and I don't even want to say this because the chat. Actually, I don't want to say this right now.
Wow.
The chat's killing people tonight, so be careful.
I don't want to say it right now. But yeah, I think his upside's big.
okay. So Mitch Trubisky or Kyler Murray?
Murray.
Kyler.
And I like Trubisky personally.
And I don't.
So you have Trubisky past quarterback 18?
Well, I don't keep rankings. Like people don't listen to
No,
this
but
show
just in
to
a
listen to my
ballpark.
rankings.
Isn't
like right now, I was just looking at ADP when you asked that. So Trubisky's 16, and I was just trying to think about like, okay, guys that I'd have in front of them, which feel like are a lot of people. I'm not a big Trubisky fan. I like Nagy and I like what he's doing. I'm not Trubisky at all. And I guess I didn't take into account the fact that all the opportunity that could be in Arizona if he goes there and the offense looks anything like it did at Texas Tech, and he's going to be running. I didn't take all that into account. So I'd still say top 18 or 15, whatever, somewhere that you said not a range. So I guess I can't do that. I'll say 18, but I just don't like Trubisky. I'm sorry.
See, the thing about it is like we got to separate if he's a good quarterback or if he's a good fantasy quarterback. I mean, Murray's going to be good at both. I feel like, he's not going to have the best surrounding talent necessarily right off the gate, but he's going to put up fantasy points. Trubisky is going to put up fantasy points at least when he doesn't get pressured. But he's going to blow up, in some games this year and stuff. And he's good for fantasy. I mean, he's going to run, he's going to put up good points in that offense and stuff. So I think people get a little too focused on if he's a good quarterback or not. When you're playing, in fantasy football, man, he's going to put up points. So yeah, you can't be too biased with that. I mean, Trubisky, you don't need to like him. I mean, he's not going to be like as accurate as Kyler Murray ever. But he's, in that offense and in the right situations, he's going to put up a lot of fantasy points. So, don't overblow it.
But the fact is that, I mean, it was probably nice to acquire him last year when the price was a whole lot cheaper as opposed to this year. And it's not, terribly expensive. What'd you say, J Mike? 16, 15,
16.
Something? Yeah. I mean, that's not terrible, but you do have to understand that maybe he's not going to be a great quarterback. We've seen it time and time again with the quarterback that puts up fantasy points and then they just get dropped in a few years because they're just actually not good.
I'd probably flip them this year after this year.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's about timing, getting the right value out of a guy when you feel like he's maybe not good at football, but
right.
certainly served you well in the time being. No,
it's a great call, Gabe. Great call. Just to give you an idea of how cheap he was at one point, somebody offered an FFPC, which is a little bit different in terms of trade values and stuff, I'm sure, but it's a shorter bench and stuff like that. But I got him they offered me from a 6th round pick and I countered for a 7th round pick and he took it. So I got, it was like crazy cheap. Wow. So he was very cheap at one point.
Wow,
man.
And I'll probably flip him after this year and try to get, like I did with Jimmy G. I flipped him for like a 1st rounder when he had the hype. And I'll probably do that, with Trubisky if I can, maybe not for a 1st, but I'll, probably flip them for something or package them for something and then be done with them.
Gabe, did you answer the Kyler Murray? Did I miss that?
The number?
Dynasty ring? Yeah.
Well, since Trubisky's 16, I'll say 15. Yeah, 15.
And two things real quick from the chat that were super smart. Peter, and who knows, sometimes Peter Howard will give us randomness, and sometimes he'll give us actual legitimate statistics. So I don't know where this falls because it could be either one. He says, and he doesn't cite what year. He says, but 63% of first round QBs go up in post ADP in August of year 2. So if you follow that, so essentially most QBs go up in their ADP in the August of their second season. So that's pretty interesting. Also, the Waz, and I don't know if you want to hear from Waz at this point, Payno, so I'm sorry. We were talking about A-Rob.
What is a Waz? That's what I want to know. What is a Waz?
He said A-Rob drew 68.1% catchable target rate on his 94 targets, which ranked 105th among wide receivers who saw at least 30 targets. So just want to throw it out there. That's that. And Waz pointed out exactly what. So basically I said, hey, I love A-Rob. I just kept watching so many balls sail over his head last season, watching, and that's what frustrates me so much about Trubisky. Like that's what I see in my head when I think of Trubisky.
Not just last year, J Mike, but years before that. You and I were just talking last week about the clip of A-Rob when he was still on the Jaguars and mini camp or practice, whatever it was. Go keep the ball in bounds, bro. Now we just started all over again with Trubisky, man. Poor A-Rob.
It's tough. I think a little bit of that will improve this year. I'm not like, I don't expect like crazy improvement, but you have to understand like Trubisky is like, he's kind of, you look at him mentally and you can tell like he's probably a little too overconfident in his game, but he also gets a little too like flustered. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like the second year he'll probably settle down a little bit. Doesn't mean his accuracy will be like so much better, but he'll probably read the defenses hopefully a little bit better. And you know, they'll probably add a couple pieces, which they're kind of doing right now to kind of make that offense a little bit better suited without having to like, you know, show the world they're going to run the ball when they have Jordan Howard in the backfield. Now they have Mike Davis and they have, Cordarrelle Patterson, you know, a couple other pieces that they're going to make defenses really open up. They're going to do everything they can to make it super easy for Trubisky to like have an open field to like, you know, pick from. And I think that's going to be a huge difference. So don't sleep. I mean, as much as we're dissing Trubisky, like honestly, this is probably going to be a big fantasy year for him. Big blow up games and probably some ugly duds, but fantasy wise, like honestly, like especially in 2 QBs, take Trubisky, man, when you can at the discount, because people look at the tape and they're like, oh man, he's terrible. And he kind of is, but I'm telling you, he's going to put up a lot of fantasy points. He's still going to run. He got hurt towards the end of the year, and that kind of made him a little bit more scared. He's going to be more familiar in the offense. As much as you want to diss his game, he's going to put up fantasy points. So I don't know, man. Just take it for what it's worth.
Then sell.
And then sell, yeah. And then sell, because I think that would, yeah, exactly. That's how you got to play it. That's how you got to play it.
I like that, Payno. That's good.
I sold my boy Wentz, bro. Like, I mean, I was all about Wentz, and then I sold him because I knew he was going to come back like Connor with his ACL right off the bat. So, you know, like but this year Wentz is going to go off, you know, so he's going to have a freaking awesome year this year. But it's just about timing. I don't know. With quarterbacks, I'm like a quarterback whore, man. I just get rid of them when their peak hits and boom.
Climax. As far
Sorry,
as
Waz is still
quarterback whore goes.
This is the last one I have. Of the top wide receivers, who's one wide receiver that you think you'll likely have 0 shares of in dynasty drafts? Connor.
From all rookie or?
Yeah, all rookie.
Oh, okay.
One guy I'll probably never have any of, probably
one wide receiver.
Based on my rankings, probably Kelvin Harmon.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Payno?
Sorry,
you say Harmon's a value? What did we say? Sorry.
I said I won't have any of them just because I have him ranked buried in the second round of my ranks, and most people seem to have him like, late first. So
well, here's the thing about him is like I when I was watching his film and everything, like I felt like I was a little bit lower on him than everybody. But then now that things are coming down, I feel like eventually he's going to be a value. I feel like he could be eventually a value. I don't know that he is, but that's kind of how I felt like his stock was going to keep dropping. But if it doesn't, I probably won't have it too much. But I think that he could, when it's all said and done, have a pretty good career, man. And as a big slot receiver, he's a good player. He's not going to be like crazy athletic, but he could have like like his ceiling could be like a Anquan Bolden, like high range of outcomes, like, maybe not the highest chance, but I think that's like his ceiling. And if he gets in a good offense or something, I could definitely see him being a really good value and have like, rack up a ton of catches, maybe not have like a ton of yards after the catch, but
that's where Bolden was so special.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I'm not going to rule him out for that. So I'm kind of feeling like eventually he will be a value, but maybe not right now. So we'll see. I think it'll get drafted before the 4th round. Like I'll probably be like a 3rd round receiver. So I kind of feel like he's still going to be in play. That's just me.
Gabe, you have one?
I think Harmon's a pretty popular choice. I'll since our boy's on here, I'll go with Metcalf.
Ooh.
I mean, he's like wide receiver 4 right now. I think that's ridiculous. But that's all right. I would say
straight face.
Just to throw out another
almost
one.
Made it.
I think Paris Campbell's is going to be more expensive than I would pay for him.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's going to be a 1st round dynasty player, I think, and I'm not willing to take that shot.
I think another one for me, a realistic one, I was just kind of messing with you, Jake, was probably Marquise Brown is one that I would
ding. I mean,
I think he's going like late second. I actually kind of like that value for him.
Did you guys see Daniel Jeremiah?
The guy I don't want to draft.
Mock draft. He's like one of the people that I actually put decent stock into for the mocks. Like he, actually knows people around the league and like talks to them and projects players. He has him as the only receiver going in the 1st round. So I don't know.
I did a mock a few days ago and I put him as the 1st receiver to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, we talked about that one of those guys like Campbell or Marquise Brown to go off the board 1st or end of the 1st round to somewhere you don't like, and you try to buy into it and you just doesn't pan out.
Honorable mention of those folks, and I'm sorry ahead of time, Peter Howard, Andy Isabella, man. I'm curious where he lands because I'm curious if he goes to somewhere like New England. I feel like his draft stock will go pretty absurd for some strange reason. But I'm just not a huge fan of his, so I'll likely be sharing no Isabella shares.
I think he has a big range of outcomes. Like I think he has a definite high upside, but definitely low floor too.
I think it's interesting because he's you think of him as like a dominant like slot receiver, but he was really like better on the outside, and which could help him, but also be kind of interesting to see how NFL teams view him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of interested because I mean I like Isabella a lot. It's just it's going to be a wild card in terms of like how he gets drafted and everything.
Did you listen to his interview with Josh Norris?
Isabella's?
Yeah.
Oh no, man! I didn't.
Oh, you got to listen to his laugh, man. His laugh is so good, dude.
I did listen to some of it.
Like I'm a fan. Like he has this funny giggle, and he giggles about everything. I was like, I like this dude. This is fucking funny, man.
Reminds me of Connor.
Hey, his ACL still intact though, so let's pray for that.
Dude, don't put that on him, bro. Don't you put that on him.
You can bank on one thing though. If he lands at the Packers, he's getting like Janis level, disrespect and targets there because he's such a body catcher. So that's a big negative if that happens.
All right, Gabe, I'm out of bullets.
I do like him though. I think he has a lot of upside and he's fast and right offense. He could kill it.
Hey, Jake, go draft.
Dude, I want to move down.
All right.
and he like broke PFF's yards per route run, man.
Who
Who
did?
did Isabella?
Isabella, yeah, he was 4.15, just above Emmanuel Hall, but they like were the two receivers that were way above the rest of the class. Isabella was 4.15 yards per route run. Emmanuel Hall was 4.14. He's a guy that I really like later in drafts. Emmanuel Hall, he's just can't stay healthy.
He had the most yards when he was facing press coverage. Scott Barrett just had a nice little article because we had a conversation about like press coverage and stuff, and I was saying DK is the best at being press, and he faced it a ton. And Scott came in and said he thought Debo was like really good. I was like, I don't remember seeing Debo like face press like at all in South Carolina. So he like dug into it, and it turned out DK faced press coverage 42%. I think he was the second best.
You're a fool if you try to press. You press DK like an idiot.
Well, college teams did it. Like,
yeah, I know. I watched it.
And
swipe their hands away. You know.
But which is so funny because like you don't get to see that. And Josh Norris has been on the train about I can't remember what GM said it, but you know the hardest thing about wide receiver evaluation coming out of college is you don't get to see these guys versus press coverage, like very rarely. So like for me, that's where I think DK like has a lot of nuance to his game because like he's so good at getting off of press, and he's probably going to see that a lot being an X receiver. But yeah, Emmanuel Hall, I think he only faced it like 30%, but yeah, it was surprising. Like I didn't realize that he was that good versus press.
No, I mean Hall, if he could have stayed healthy, man, because I think he only played like at most 8, maybe it was 10 games was the most, but he played like 6, 8, 10 games.
Well, he's another guy that didn't get asked to like run a lot of routes either, so like he's being dinged for that too. But like he is a really good deep receiver.
And he didn't play when he did play like often. Like he was hurt. He was still hurt, like battling like a hamstring injury. And now he was coming from like a groin injury or something like that. Or maybe he had a sports hernia. I'm not sure, but he just was dinged up all the time. But man, he had 828 yards on 37 receptions. It's crazy. Only 58.
He just was
targets.
running by everyone. He just runs by everybody.
Payno, I got a quick question. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Connor.
Playing with Drew Lock, who kind of sucks. Like, I don't really like him. I mean, he's 27th ranked average depth of target. Like he's just like, and he's not that accurate. So I think that
9.35 ADOT.
Yeah, I don't think that he's really all that good either. I think Hall, has a chance to ascend to the next level.
I'd be really like, I've been meaning to dig into this. I keep forgetting about it, but I'd love to see Drew Lock splits with Emmanuel Hall versus without him. That's what I would love to see.
Drew Lock did have, I think, one of the hardest schedules as far as any of these rookie guys go too, though. Like, and I'm not a huge Lock fan, but like his tape is so all over the place. Like when he's bad, it's like really, really fucking bad. But like when he has his feet under him and he's playing with tempo, like there's definitely some intrigue there. Like when he has things put together, he can obviously make throws that maybe, I mean, Kyler Murray can make, but no other quarterback in this class outside of Murray can make. So I think there is intrigue. I think like John Elway is probably going to fall for that. It's a total John Elway.
But is he 6'7"? I mean, that's
perfect.
He's a little short.
He's 6'8".
He'll put him on heels and he'll be fine.
He's got the weight.
Yeah.
He's got the arm.
Yeah. So. Started as a freshman. I mean, old school NFL teams will fall in love with Drew Lock.
Oh yeah, him and Daniel Jones.
Deep targets.
I don't understand the Daniel Jones love.
Emmanuel Hall on deep targets. Okay, check this out. He had 26 deep targets. He had 12 catches for 506 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like that's ridiculous.
I mean, he's a guy that I've been taking in rookie mocks in like the 3rd round all the time.
While we're talking about it, Hakeem Butler, 37 deep targets, 19 catches, 721 yards, 4 touchdowns. Dude just plucking balls out of the air and throwing people's faces into the ground.
Yep.
The only thing I don't love about
Excited
Butler
to see where he
is
lands.
that he's going to be 23 and he's raw. Like that generally, like and his archetype of his body, like I think it's it's a risky projection. And I do like him as a player, but the fact that he didn't break out, and I know his story's kind of unique as far as, you know, his late. He didn't play football till late, and then I think his mother passed away a few years ago, and so he was like learning the position. And you know, he was like a low star recruit, so he had to work his way up to like knowing how to play the position, and then, you know, gaining snaps, but like not really doing much of anything until 22, and then just being somewhat raw. You know, I think he's super landing spot dependent.
So I agree with you. So I like, the thing is though, here's like DK Metcalf. I love him if we were to just take out the injuries and the neck injury and, you know, all that stuff, like, and some of the other, you know, flags on DK Metcalf. I like Butler a little bit more because, yeah, he's got the late breakout, which is kind of, you know, a red flag, but he can play in the slot. He can play on the outside, which I'm not saying necessarily that Metcalf can't, although his profile suggests he's going to be a straight up outside receiver. I think Hakeem Butler can play in the slot, which he's proven to, and on the outside, which is going to make him a little bit safer than maybe it would look like if he was just a straight outside receiver. He played in the slot quite a bit. He had 110 snaps in the slot, 33 targets, 23 catches, 573 yards, and 5 touchdowns out of the slot.
I actually like him out of the slot because then he doesn't have to worry about being pressed.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So 5.21 yards per route run, which is second in the class in the slot. Yeah, by far. Like Marquise Brown is like way up there in the slot, 7.45 yards per route run in the slot, and Hakeem Butler is second at 5.21, which shows how awesome Marquise Brown was out of the slot, but also Butler. And I think that's going to be the thing is, like, say, you know, obviously if the Packers were to take him or somebody, you know, putting him on in the slot and on the outside really gives him a little bit more of like a higher floor than I think maybe you're thinking. So I like Butler more than DK Metcalf for that reason.
Yeah, I wonder if we can bypass the late breakout age, considering his pass is not like you were saying, Jake. It's kind of a special case. So I wonder if it even is so much of an outlier. But just purely looking at the data, if you just look at it as a number, sure, he could be an outlier to be successful. But I think you have to dig a little deeper with that one.
I agree, and I actually, you know, once I heard his story, that kind of explained away some things. I think some people don't care about stories, you know, like some people don't care about context in a lot of these evaluations. So he was a guy that, you know, I scouted him for Devy 2 years ago, last offseason, and I was like, I don't really see it. But he did look like a completely different player this past year. So he's definitely intriguing. I like him. I think he's my wide receiver 4. But I think he definitely does carry some risk. But all these guys do.
All they do. Yeah, all of them do.
Except Harry's like the cleanest projection you could possibly ever get as far as like from a metrics. And I mean, I guess there are some flaws in his tape, but super safe guy.
Agreed. 101.
And AJ Brown's pretty safe too. I just hope a team doesn't try to play him outside too much because his money is in the slot.
Yeah. Yeah. Interested to see where they go. Just to come back to what we were talking about earlier, I think that the 101 through 104.5 can easily just fluctuate dependent on that landing spot. So, curious.
Jake, your man Peter's depressing the chat. The more we talk about these receivers, the lower he is on them.
I also think this class is just kind of trash.
What? Oh man, I just disagree, man. I disagree. But I mean, there is a chance. There is some flags at the top. So you know what? I won't disagree. I do think it's pretty deep, though.
Well, I think just like going through that.
That's what it is to me. Yeah.
That simulation mock we did. It's like this time of year we just view everyone going to like at least above average situation. And that's once these landing spots happen, I think we're just like, it's gonna like really bring into light like what the context of what this class really is, I think.
Mm-hmm.
or it could.
I have a feel like the way I look at it is like it's like maybe some of them, I don't know, maybe some of them it's not going to be as immediately like sexy, but it's like I don't know. I feel like we do need an influx of depth, like a lot of like influx of receivers. So I don't know. I like this class personally, but the ones at the top, kind of like with Butler and Metcalf, I think if they just like completely bust or something, then yeah, that would be a big hit, because then it will just be a lot of depth. So, because I mean, you're looking at potential, WR1s kind of a thing. Like, I don't know, Butler, like you could looking at the sexy upside, but if he busts, if DK doesn't stay healthy or something like that, and he's just, does what he did in college and just not produce because he's hurt and stuff like that, then yeah, it would be sad.
Yeah.
Which is in the range of outcomes. Guys, I read Astro Ball. I'm a changed man. Like, that's in the range of outcomes.
That's 4?
No, that's only 3. It doesn't count. The other one didn't count because I didn't say it.
It's still 4.
It was
No,
4.
no, that does not count, Connor. You
Run
said
the
it,
tape
not
back.
me.
Run the tape back.
Yeah, run it back.
No, we're not running it back.
Look at the stats, Joe. Stats don't lie.
Sometimes they do.
Explain yourself.
So it was 3. Run it back. Yeah, run it back. It was 3. I'm confident. And you can't count before we went live.
I know. We're not.
Okay.
We're not. Yeah. I think the second round of rookie drafts is going to be a lot of fun. There's just so many guys I find interesting in that range. I mean, right now where the ADP stands, but there was a guy I wanted to talk about while we were on the. Y'all mentioned Tevin Coleman. Does Justice Hill remind you of him at all?
Not really. I actually think Justice Hill's a relatively good runner. Just straight up running back. Like, I don't think Tevin Coleman's really a running back. Like, I think he's like really good in the screen game and passing game.
What?
What?
What are you talking about?
Tevin Coleman?
He's not a running back?
I don't think he's like a natural running back.
I
don't think he's a good runner.
What?
Like, I don't
You think he's a good runner, Joe?
I don't think he has good vision. I don't think he hits the right holes like ever.
He's like terrible in like all metrics. He's not he's not a great running back.
Just wait. He'll be good this year.
Yeah, you've been saying Tevin Coleman truthers have been saying just wait for 5 years.
I think he's a really good scheme fit for I don't think he's universally like okay, so probably similar to Darrell Henderson actually, which is kind of scary now that we're talking about it, but
that's my comp.
Yeah, no, I think that that Coleman is a perfect fit in San Francisco. The problem is obviously that he's in a 3-man timeshare kind of a thing. So
can he get all the receptions? If he can, then I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah. No, I think Kyle Shanahan is just like scared shitless of having a year like last year where he's playing guys like Raheem Mostert, because everybody's freaking hurt. I mean, good Lord, the dude Breida was a true, like he was a tank that he was playing on like one like foot, like he had every freaking injury, he had shoulder injuries, every like knee injury that he was playing on every freaking week. I don't even know how he played. He's like, Connor, you should suck it up right now, bro, and go play some soccer or something. Like, dude, if you're like,
barely walk to the club to get bottle service.
Matt Breida would be going to get.
Seen you get up to have another cocktail, dude. That's brutal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just couched once I get to 1 point. It's just that's all I got.
I think Shanahan was like, okay, if I'm gonna have like 3 kind of like sub 200 pounder, like barely, those guys that can't like handle the load like full time all the time, I'm gonna have 3 of them just in case. No, but honestly, Coleman is a really good fit in that offense, guys. He really is. I don't know that how that's gonna work out and stuff, but I don't know.
But McKinnon's a good pass catcher too. Like that's his thing. Like that's what I'm concerned about. McKinnon's like a good pass catcher. So
yeah, and Breida improved too. So it's
Breida was actually way more impressive than I gave him credit to like early.
Freaking
in the
had
season.
to. Freaking had to, dude. He
Well,
was
his
like, this is my
profile,
shot.
his college profile was like not very good from a receiving standpoint. So
Right. He's like, man, I'm an undrafted free agent, man. I'm just gonna go out there and freaking do everything I can to stay on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, dude's probably taking so many painkillers, it's ridiculous. Probably stay in the game. I mean, good lord. That dude is he was a beast though, to be able to go through that.
In Dynasty, I'm just pretty much holding Tevin Coleman if I have him and praying for the best. But you know, like in redraft, I don't really know what to do with any of these guys. I'm kind of just like, you know, throwing darts occasionally in best ball, and that's about it. But definitely in any like high stakes or mid stakes leagues, I'm probably not grabbing them, to be honest.
I mean, Tevin's been intriguing, like in best balls that I've done where I, you know, go 0 RB or just wait on running back and take him in like the 6th or 7th round. It's, you know, kind of a dart throw.
Him and McKinnon are like back to back in Dynasty ADP. Last
are they really?
That's just like
I'd definitely rather
scary.
have Tevin there.
Yeah. Since everyone was thinking that McKinnon was going to get cut. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, huh?
I think it's next year that I think McKinnon's contract next year makes more sense to cut. I don't think it's this year.
Agreed.
And Coleman, that was a disappointing contract.
They'll draft another sub 200-pound running back. That's why I brought up Justice Hill. I thought that we could, you know, but then no one wanted to talk about Justice Hill.
We want to talk about sub 200-pound or barely 200-pound running backs. Oh man, guys,
By the way, McKinnon's not even sub 200.
Darwin Thompson,
man. Can we talk about Darwin Thompson?
He's the Boston Scott of this running back class.
Gosh, dude. Oh man, I hope he gets drafted. Like, I think he'll get drafted.
He's a beast too. He's so strong.
Gosh, man, I was like, I know that this is probably looking too much into this, but Jake, you would love him because guess whose workout partner he is?
Who's that?
DK Metcalf's workout partner.
Oh, perfect. He
can squat. Okay, he's not even 200 pounds or right around 200 pounds. He can squat 700 pounds. 700. Let's see. Hold on. Let me pull up this.
Justice Hill's a workout warrior too.
Yeah. Nothing like a 200-pound dude squatting 700 pounds though.
Yeah.
And I think he had one of the highest bench presses too. He's in, okay, you know that picture of DK Metcalf that everybody freaked out about on Twitter? Shut up, Connor. Shut up. You remember that picture where it was like just looking like freakishly athletic and he's got like everybody's in the gym and he's just like looks like an alien? Well, Darwin Thompson's in the middle crouching down like a little midget, but he's just like crazy stocky and he's the dude in the middle.
It's so funny because he looks like so tiny on tape.
I know.
You see him up close and he's like ripped for his size.
I'm gonna tweet out a little GIF because Connor showed me how to download this program. But there's a GIF of him like just like shedding this like middle linebacker who's like hanging off of him, and he just like he's like carrying him. He's like dragging him everywhere. It's like crazy for somebody his size. But he's a guy like a pretty decent running back that you can get in probably like 3rd, 4th rounds of rookie drafts. I think he'd be decent.
I can't see him in any combine. Was he?
He's not even in. He didn't even get invited to the combine. So this, he
real deep.
Like honestly, he got snubbed. Let's see. Hold on.
I see something maybe from a pro day. 4.640. Come on.
No, he did not run a 4.640.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't think he was that fast. I think it was like a 4.5 though. It wasn't like a crazy, but his like agility scores and like burst scores were pretty good. Hold on one second.
Yeah, those are both solid. Looks like, but he's slow. He's not Jerick McKinnon, so I guess we can just kind of move on from that. You looked that up, Joe. Anything else pressing to you guys at all? Jake, are you going to pick at all? Are you still trading back, supposedly?
I don't know. I wanted to trade back, but I don't know.
I'm right after you. Do you want to trade back to me and show me a...
I'll throw you something to trade back? That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. A 5th round pick.
I want to trade back so bad, I'll give you a 2025th.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
I don't get it.
Right. Darwin Thompson, pro day, 4.5, 3.40. He had 10 yard. 10 split was 1.57,
Mhm.
which was high up there. 23 bench, 39-inch vertical. Good lord. Actually, I thought it was 41, but I don't know. Broad, he had a I'm literally giving him like some kind of narrative as we speak. I'm just trying so hard here.
His
Anyways,
spark score is 74th percentile. His college dominator wasn't great, is 49th. College yards per carry was 91st percentile. Burst score was 91st. Agility was 68th. And bench press was 74th percentile.
He's
pretty
third
good for a running back.
40-yard dash was 47th, and his speed score was 20th percentile.
He had 48 missed tackles forced, 0.32, which is third in college last year, according to PFF. So it was like David Montgomery, Devin Singletary, and Darwin Thompson in terms of like percentage, like missed tackles forced per attempt. So he was third in missed tackles forced per attempt. For what it's worth.
Yeah, it's the same. Like I fell in love with Boston Scott as like an undrafted guy last year. Like his film was so good. I feel like I'm gonna fall for that same thing with Darwin Thompson. Like probably goes undrafted or 7th round, and I'm like grabbing him everywhere and just hoping, and probably nothing happens.
Honestly, though, like in this draft, I feel like there's going to be a bunch of that kind of stuff because I don't think there's going to be a ton of running backs like drafted in the first few rounds. So we're all going to be, just grabbing those upside guys later in the draft anyway. That's why I think the receivers, there's going to be a pretty good chunk of first through third round receivers. So I feel like that's why I like this class, is because there's going to be a bunch of them in the first 3 rounds. And again, going back to Russell Clay's work, man, Russell Clay's the man. That's all I got to say. And
Breach.
Russell Clay and Astro Ball, bro.
I think Russell Clay wrote Astro Ball, honestly. I think I got to go back and double check, but I'm pretty sure he's the author of Astro Ball. But no, man, I really do believe that there's a chance we could see, 3, maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 receivers in the first round. What do you think?
3 or 4 receivers in the first round?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 3.
I think at least 3, and it could
there could be 4. Yeah,
could be 4, but probably 3. And then if you're going to the second round, that would bump one of them to the second round. And there's a good chunk of receivers that could go second and third. So honestly, there could be 10.
49ers got to be taking a wide receiver in round 2 at the beginning of round 2. So
right.
Harry, they've worked out Harry. They had Butler in just recently. I think one of those guys is definitely going to San Francisco in the top of the second round.
So that's what I'm saying. Like this class, like has a decent chance in terms of like depth to last, and to put up a lot of fantasy relevant numbers. I mean, it's all percentages. I think that's a good indicator, I think, for the relevance of this class, is that there will be, pretty good draft capital. So that's
did J Mike disappear?
Yeah,
dude, look at that high fade on that picture. I like it.
He just wanted to put that up there for a minute just to get that one compliment, and he should be back any minute, Pano. So
have you guys been? I can't remember. Did you guys do like some kind of draft last week or last episode?
Like a top 5 of sorts or whatever?
Yeah, or whatever it was.
I don't know, and I don't think so.
Yeah.
So why, you got something on your mind?
No, I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun to do something. I thought that train was still going.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to. We just don't know
but
what.
J Mike's got to be here. I mean,
that's a good point. Shoot. Oh boy.
Pete Howard said something nice actually that I agree with in the chat. Yeah, I really like Keyshawn Johnson and his value.
Oh yeah.
Same.
I really think that he's a really good value, and he pops in a lot of numbers, a lot of stats, and even on tape as well.
His tape was solid.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's the thing is like, I want to have somebody that I like, the numbers and the tape kind of line up, and he's one of those guys that do. I'm just looking through some yards per route run. He's probably top 10 or borderline top 10. 3.05, right around the JJ, Arcega-Whiteside and AJ Brown, numbers. Let's see. He's got, and the deep ball, I think he was pretty good there too. Not as
breakout age and market share were good too.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
kinda
good in
one
the
guy
slot
that
too.
hasn't jumped up like these others,
Well, he
like
tested poorly.
Isabella, and
He
is that what
tested
happened? He
poorly.
tested
Yeah, he
poorly?
tested really poorly.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
I
pretty
see that.
bummed. Like early on the process, I was low on Kelvin Harmon. So like my, I don't even know what the word to use, but like Keyshawn was my poor man's version of Kelvin Harmon. I think he's that kind of player.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That's like we were talking about with Reeves is like buckets, like the archetypes and everything. Like he's a guy that I think you can get as like a an arbitrage later that's cheaper. And I mean
I think you're going to be
he's
able
a
to
good
get him
receiver.
probably in like the 4th round of rookie drafts.
Yeah, no doubt.
Really?
Yeah.
Good night. That I mean, I have him highlighted for that reason.
Unless Peter is in your draft, because he'll take him in the 2nd.
Well, the other thing about that is I'll be probably able to get a lot of other players that he hates, so that's good. If I'm in one of his drafts, like this is like the first guy I think that he likes that I like. So I don't know. I might need to do a little bit more homework then. No, but I really agree with that one.
Ugh, what did he walk?
What do you guys think about
DK.
AJ Brown? I want to talk a little bit about AJ Brown. And maybe
Hollywood.
I think he's a little bit overrated personally. I think he's solid, I don't know. I just think he's a slot guy that I think his routes are just okay. I think his hands are just okay. I don't know if he's a contested catch guy. His yak was created by more power and strength than it was from really elusiveness. I think he's going to have to be highly targeted to be like, a top. I think a lot of people have him as the 101, 102, 103, right in that range. He's probably not a guy that I would take as early. And I like the player, but I think he's going to go probably earlier than I would take him personally.
See, that's the thing is I feel like he's
Super safe,
maybe he
though.
will. It depends, I guess, the draft that you're in. But I feel like he's probably I was thinking he's more of a value at this point because I didn't think that I thought he was going to be like 104, 105. And I think he's definitely worth that. He's also got the breakout age like working for him, or I guess maybe he's not like crazy breakout age, but he's still really young. He's 21. You're not even going to be, I don't think 22. Yeah. He's not going to be 22 before the draft hits and everything. So I think he's kind of still an ascending player. You can't always, bank on that. I agree with you, Jake, on some of the things I saw on tape. But I think he's an interesting player because I think the upside could be higher than what I initially thought, just because he is young. He, could be improving that area, but that's also like the flip side of like the Hakeem Butler thing. Like I'm looking at the tape and I'm watching him as a player, and I think that I can explain away some of the late breakout age thing. But with Brown, I'm kind of like, I wasn't as blown away, but he was solid, but he's young. So it's like, it's kind of like the flip side of like Hakeem Butler in a sense.
I just don't think he's going to create separation if he's not in the slot. Like I know he had success out wide, but it's so funny. DK faced press all the time outside.
Yeah.
Once AJ Brown went outside, he barely faced press. Like he faced like 10-yard man off coverage, and he just run these like kind of lazy slant routes, like these hitches, and he's just open because they're not really facing him. And then when he did face press, I don't see him create much separation in tight coverage.
No, I mean, I am with you there. Like that's a lot of what I did see. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just trying to, I think he's like a decent value. If he stays around the 104 range, I would be all over that, but I don't know. I don't like his, I don't know. I'm just trying to kind of like, I think he's safer. I think overall he's better as like a big slot. He can play on the outside a little bit. I'm not saying he can't, but I think he's best suited as a big slot receiver.
I just think people are overhyping his ability to be versatile, and I think he's just like, I think he's a slot, and could he play outside? Yes, but I don't think he's going to be productive outside.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the NFL is just super generous to slot wide receivers anymore. I mean, Cooper Kupp, Juju, even though that was another kind of tangent argument there with Juju. That was one of his knocks, is that he was kind of supposed to be like the only, I said it and other people had said it way more respected than me, that he was kind of just slated to be a slot receiver. and
he really
they're
still
going to
is.
and yeah, he really still kind of is. But the NFL, concedes to that, and it's just working for slot receivers. So it can totally work for AJ Brown as
For
well.
sure.
I think
There's no doubt. I'm not
I
a
just
guy
have
that
him
just
like a
discounts
tier
slot guys.
below. I have him like a tier below that, like Butler, Metcalf, Harry, and then I have him like fourth. And I think that that's pretty fair because I think he does have upside in the slot, like any good like slot receiver would have. But I'm not really on board with him being like a 101 or 102.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think JJ Arcega-Whiteside goes? Like, in typical drafts and stuff.
Second round, kind of early,
Yeah,
mid
late
second
first,
round.
early.
I'm not a huge fan of his. He's another guy that
Why not?
I don't know if his game translates all that well. Like his ability to box out defenders, especially in the red zone, is like amazing. But like, what kind of role is that? Like, you're hoping he can be Mike Williams? Like at least what Mike Williams has been.
But he's got quicker feet though, man. Like, I mean, I know that everybody talks about the boxing out and everything, but man, I mean, you've seen some of those plays he made versus Oregon and stuff where he was just like, just totally, I mean, he showed his quick feet right there and just like put somebody, I don't know, he created like 3 or 4 yards of separation against that one corner in Oregon versus Oregon and scored a touchdown on him. Like, I mean, that was not the typical, straight line receiver kind of like archetype that people were trying to paint for him. Like, I mean, he showed something to me in like that Oregon game. So I don't know. I'm not sure if he's just like this box out receiver that people are making him out to be. Did you watch him versus Oregon?
I think so. Yeah. I can't remember that specific play that you're referencing.
Man, I don't know.
He did it so much in the end zone.
when I watch guys, like I try to like look for plays like that kind of like change how I view them, and that was a play that kind of showed like the other sides of him that I wasn't really looking at, because I saw all the contested catches, the downfield catches, like possession type like receivers, and like it was like, okay, this is kind of his role. But when I saw him like having quick feet like that and gaining separation and creating that just with his feet, that's a different type of a player. If he can do that more often, if like that's going to be a part of his game, then that's a game changer. That's a difference in like a whole round of ADP, honestly.
Yeah. I just think creating separation like has to be so good in college if you're going to do it at the NFL level. Like, yeah, once in a while in college, if you can create decent separation, that's okay. But like, I think you have to be like really good at creating separation if you're going to be an outside receiver, because that's how he projects, right? You project him as like an X or Y. So I don't know. A lot of his passes were like, there wasn't a lot of separation there. So our quarterback's going to be willing to, throw him contested catches. It's the same kind of, Calvin Harmon type of thing, where I just don't know if there's going to be enough separation there to be like a consistent producer outside of like kind of being a specialty type of player.
Yep. No, that's fair. There was a couple plays that just kind of caught my eye to think maybe there could be more, but I mean, it's definitely like predominantly outside receiver kind of thing. So we'll see.
What do you think?
I was just curious about it.
Connor, where are you at with Jaw?
I don't know. I think that he's a tough eval for me. So I think like where he's going right now is probably pretty fair. So I think I have him late first. I'm a little bit higher on him just because I do see touchdown upside with him. But I'm not necessarily sure that he'll be a guy that can really step into a prominent number one role. I'm not really sure that that's like entirely in his range of outcomes for me, but I think that like if you put him on, I think I saw him mock to the Packers once, and he was one of the guys who met one of their thresholds, and I think that was awesome. Like, Aaron Rodgers is a prolific touchdown thrower. Like those two would crush, in my opinion. But I think he's pretty landing spot dependent for me, because if his team is not scoring a lot of touchdowns, then he's probably not going to have a ton of fantasy points for me.
J-Mike, do you have a mock that or some kind of fun draft that we could do quick to wrap things up?
Welcome back, J-Mike, by the way.
Yeah, man. Don't get married. Don't have children. Just live your life. Just live your life. No, I'm totally kidding. Kind of. So, yeah. Let's mock some.
Think about it. Hey,
Nope.
I did look up the prop for how many wide receivers in the first round.
What's it at right now?
2.5 at negative 120 on the money line. So yeah, about 3 would be about even money, huh? So or
It's
2,
tough.
I guess.
It's
I
tough
think I'd
because
mark
it's been looking like the over for like a while. It looks like there's like 3 receivers that we all like, but the NFL seems to be kind of like souring, or the reports are like, 1 or 2 maybe. So that's going to be something that is going to be tough. We're going to have to, because I'm definitely going to put in some NFL like prop bets for the draft.
Yeah,
because there's some pretty soft numbers, but this one's tough to gauge whether like who's telling the truth, who's not, and based on like our evaluations versus the league.
Have you looked at many props yet?
I think that there's some like the good ones usually don't get like released till like right before like all of them in depth, but there's some good ones right now. It's like first receiver to be drafted. Metcalf is still like slightly favored. First running back,
really.
Yeah. First running back is Josh Jacobs. He's pretty heavily favored. I think it's like -300, something like that. Kyler Murray's obviously the heavy favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. I think that there's could be some value on trying to fade him potentially as the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Because I've been like, kind of theorizing here. Like it's not Cliff Kingsbury's decision to pick the number 1 overall guy. So even if he said like, oh, I love this player, it's not even his decision. And Kyler Murray would be like a total outlier based on Steve Keim and like the past quarterbacks he's had. He's never had a quarterback shorter than 6'2", and their average height is 6'4". So I mean, I think that he would be a total outlier, and it's not like they haven't been outwardly exploring trades for Josh Rosen. So that means that they're going to leave it up to chance on draft day just to like trade away the guy they picked 10th overall last year. Like that's crazy. So I think that like odds makers right now are looking at like -500. I think it should be closer to like -150. So
Wow.
I'm not really sure how to like properly hedge this yet. But I don't know. I think close to the draft, I'll definitely have some stuff and figure that out.
There was a good podcast. I can't remember whose podcast it was, and even who they were talking to, but they were talking about John Gruden and like the way he runs NFL teams, and he wants the player he doesn't have.
Yep.
And he loves Kyler Murray. Like I could totally see them giving up like the house to trade up 3 spots. Like give up 4, give up 24 and a future second or something like that. Which would just be crush for Arizona.
Oh man, that'd be great for them.
And I'd also like that for Oakland.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be. I mean, not that like it would be like this. I don't know, but yeah, that'd be freaking awesome for Oakland. Just like for fantasy, that would be exciting.
Yeah, I mean that'd be crazy. But like from a value perspective, so bad. And I tweeted this out the other day, like how much of a mistake it would be, because like if the Cardinals are willing to give away the number 1 overall pick for any kind of normal compensation, that means that they probably weren't going to pick Kyler Murray in the first place. So like they should have deals prepared to trade up to number 2 or number 3 if they really think someone's going to swoop in, not to number 1, where obviously Arizona's going to like charge like crazy amount and they'll have to trade away like a 2 first, like you're saying, and then a second or something like that.
Right.
Which is nuts. But I don't know. I think that's one of the most interesting things in the draft that I think could just be different than what everything's going around right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite as sealed as it's made out to be. I agree there.
Dude, this is like a marathon.
Draft,
this is one of the longest open bars ever, I'm pretty sure. As far as live airtime.
We're going for it.
Yeah. Dude, so nice little
shout out to anybody that's still in the chat.
Peter.
Yeah,
I think Waz is still in there.
Peter's always good for it. Waz came back. He stopped back in. I don't know if he's.
Well, I mean, you could be doing a lot of things and just come back, and we're still here.
That's true. That's very fair. What we can. Oh, super duper flex. What's up, brother? He's still in here. He gave us a good old woohoo there. Oh snap, Macklin J. What's up, Justin? Justin's still here. So yeah. So apparently, it's still people are still rocking with us. So appreciate you guys, most certainly. The draft to be able to close out today's show. Speaking of draft boards, speaking of boards in general and rankings, let's go ahead and draft our favorite board games. Yes, board games.
Nice.
Board games. All right. So here we go. Looking at the wonderful world of YouTube. Pano, you are the 101. I'm the
No,
102.
don't make me the 101.
Trade back.
Jake is the 103. Colin is number 104. And Gabe bringing up the rear, 105.
Mm.
So board games, best board games, favorite board games, however you want to take it. Pano's on you.
Man. Oh man, this is a lot of pressure, guys. Board games, huh? Man, can I trade down? Is there any way I can trade down in this situation here?
If anyone's
I'm
feeling
like, can I-
froggy enough to
who-
trade up to 101.
Who's John Gruden? Who's number 4? Who's number 4? Is
That would-
anyone wanna trade
That's
up?
me. I'll
Matrix
give you
himself.
Man, think about this, man. You got your whole life in front of you. You can pick any board game you want. You know, you're trying to win now.
I'm sure.
you know-
I'm sure you don't play a lot of board games just because like there's probably not even enough like pieces or characters to play with like your
That's the
15
problem.
kids.
Is
You know what I
my-
mean?
my-
Like
we will have a
you can't
board
fit all
game,
of them.
and the kids will just like throw shit every. You know, I don't know. I'll be missing a piece by the next time we try to play the games. Like, oh, that one's over. Does Jenga count? No. Let's see. I don't know.
Someone say no.
I think
Risk
we'll
is
allow
fun.
Jenga.
this is
Risk
like
is
picking
fun. If I'm
Daniel
gonna
Jones
trade
first
down,
overall right now.
I'm gonna
for
trade
sure.
down. I'm gonna trade down. Who wants to trade up?
Is this just one round?
One round.
All right.
No, I will go with.
Go get your guy, man. It doesn't matter.
Get your guy,
about
Pano.
the consensus here.
Jenga.
No, I'll go with. I'll go with Monopoly, man. Monopoly's always
Yeah.
Oh,
Astro
man.
Astro
Dude,
Ball.
that has to be close to the 101 there.
Yeah, Monopoly's
That hurt.
like me and my wife. We fight over Monopoly all the time,
Dude, Monopoly creates some fucking fights, man.
Dude, seriously, man. Like,
Always ends in fights.
that's why
Me and my brothers would like be ready to throw fists anytime we play Monopoly.
yeah. Risk is a lot of fun too, but I'll go with Monopoly because it's I can play it with the fam. Who's
It's a
102?
good one
I'm
there.
trying to trade down, man. You
yeah.
jerks don't want to trade up, so don't give me any lip.
Monopoly was definitely my pick. That's my 101.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so
So as the kids say, good pick. With that said, at 102, I picked up the phone. I gave one of the ones that we play here at the house with the girls. I gave Candyland a call, and Candyland did not want to answer the phone, so had to let that pass on by. At 102, I'm going back to one of my favorites as a youngster, playing this with a lot of folks in high school. Clue. Love Clue. Clue's one of my all-time favorite games, period. Monopoly and Clue as a kid takes me back. So I'm going with Clue at 102.
nice.
Jake Anderson, it's on you.
Oh, this
What'd you say,
is
Pano?
tough, man?
You even made it rhyme. That was dope.
Everything J Mike touches turns to gold.
Right.
This is
Channeling
tough
my
for
energy
me.
to Jake.
And I'm gonna tell you both because I don't think anybody would take the other one. Anybody ever play Sequence?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good game. No,
That
that's
is a
not the
good
game I'm gonna take, but I think that's a really underrated
Sleeper.
game. Yeah.
Fourth round.
But I'm gonna take a classic, and it's golf cribbage.
What?
So you play cribbage on like this board that has golf holes, and there's like specific rules for like going in the water or the bunker, or if you land directly in the hole. Like it was a
You're a
a
golf
huge game that we played growing up at my house, and just played it this past Christmas. So
That
that's
was a
another game that ends in fights too.
You could
at
have
my
traded
household.
down, man. You could have taken them like. the
That's
start.
okay. I'm go get your guy.
I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll have to look into that. That's interesting.
It's great.
I love- and
if
I
you
love cribbage, too.
Cribbage
Yeah.
is like one of my all-time favorite card games. That was a huge household favorite.
Mm-hmm. You ever get that 29?
Ooh, man, that was the best. If you were like down by $1 billion,
Yeah.
and that was the best thing about cribbage too, because like
A lot of
it
swings.
fluctuates so much.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
104.
My-
Connors.
104.
Straight up.
All right. This is an easy pick for me. Risk. Love Risk.
Yeah, I figured.
Game.
Yeah, that was gonna be close to my 101.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that. And Monopoly, two of my favorites. Quality stuff there. It's really long, but it's a lot of fun if you can actually have the patience for it.
I
Yeah.
had you pegged as a Risk or a Catan guy, Connor.
Yeah,
Shout out to
that's
Brandon
fair.
Marion Lee.
Yeah.
She came on. She's the queen of Settlers of Catan or whatever. Whatever it's called. Bringing up the rear.
Probably the
G-Money.
Catan hive is out there saying it's Settlers of Catan. I don't fucking know.
I look like a settler of Catan.
I look like a settler. I'm a sick waz on you, Pano. You be careful, bro.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Die.
I gotta this is mostly just shout out to my bros, my legitimate brothers. We play Scrabble every year at Thanksgiving, and
Nice.
it kind of became a tradition not even too long ago, probably 6, 7, 8 years ago or so, but I played the first year, kind of got my ass kicked, and then I came back and I got like the dictionary and I learned all the 2-letter words, and then I just dropped them on the table left and right and just crushed them, and they were mad. They were like, those aren't words. And I was doing all these unique things. So I mean,
like
it just changed the level of expectation every year and heightened the competition, and just one of my favorite things to do. It's like not even a spectacular game to me, but just like how seriously we take it amongst each other. And we're not even like wordsmiths,
It's also a game like you have to play relatively consistently or you lose your shit.
Oh,
like
totally.
I played it recently and we used to play that with like my friends in high school some nights. And like I played it for the first time like 6 months ago. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so fucking bad at this game. But I used to really enjoy it back in the day.
You're out there spilling cat.
you wild man on the weekends playing.
Well, this is with the in-laws,
Okay.
But it was funny in high school. We'd be like drinking whiskey handles and playing Scrabble.
No, that does not.
Scrabble.
I grew up in rural Minnesota, man.
I was gonna say, man, good night. Like late night Scrabble games with getting drunk.
Yeah. If you guys saw my hometown,
Scrabble and counted.
But I'm not gonna lie, right now that sounds kind of fun.
He's just literally playing on the kitchen with the tile on the floor. Y'all are just getting the expo marker out and writing words.
Those freaking but I hate it though when you have like when you're playing Scrabble and you think that you've got like a blank space, but you flip it over.
You flip it over.
You've just been showing them that S you've had the whole time.
You're just waiting on vowels because you have all consonants.
I'm the king of having like 4 A's or like 3 of the same freaking letter, and I'm just like, oh, it pisses me off. So sometimes I hate Scrabble. Like if I don't know. But yeah, it's fun when you can crush like a triple word score and you got an X or a triple letter with an X or Z.
Oh yes,
awesome.
Yeah,
it's tilting if you can't
though. We did it, J Mike.
Yeah,
nice draft on the spot there. That's what a real co-host does. I was just clueless to come back to your favorite board game. I did not know what to draft at all.
I didn't get a freestyle from you, Gabe, but it's kind of late in the night for that, but we'll have to save that for another time.
You just drop that beat, or if you want me to go a cappella, I'm
Bro,
hella extra.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think you could do that on your own. And since we're here, can you what did I do?
Nothing. You just Pano, man.
Well, okay,
just Pano.
We've just went through a marathon. My attention span is like my brain is shot and fried. So, I obviously couldn't even follow the rules of the games. The guys in the chat were lighting me up earlier because I was supposed to stick to one word and I didn't. So I was gonna say, you want to do my podcast intro for me this year?
This year?
No, I meant like for the year, like for this upcoming year.
No, I'd love to. I am in
You're
the
a legend.
middle. I'm in the middle of it.
Oh, really?
You got to
Just
get
these
on
last-
that TQE.
Are you
thread,
serious?
man.
These last 3 weeks have been very busy. I don't
You're
know
doing
if
it though. You're doing it.
I am. I mean, as far as I know, you asked. You're the one who asked me.
Oh no! Like you said, you're in the middle of it. I thought like you're like literally like working on it. So I was like, whoa. I was like, but if you're,
Yeah,
Well,
it's in motion. It's in motion.
Ooh, yes! I'm so excited about that.
It's so exciting waiting for an intro from Gabe.
Oh man, dude! Oh my god!
It seriously is.
Jake with the flex.
It seriously is.
Like I wasn't even gonna try to pressure him about it or say anything, but like now I thought about it since we're 3 hours into this, marathon. I figured maybe now is a good.
Can you imagine listening to this in podcast form? Like
They probably were like, did they know they should have just like pressed end on the that you have to do that with?
You're not going to be able to upload this because
I know.
the file's going to be too big.
Your phone's you're gonna need like an extra freaking memory for.
You have to delete some apps for this one.
Yeah.
delete some apps.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, like this is. I mean, good lord, I'm gonna call in tomorrow. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, I'm I don't know. I'm excited about that intro. I'm not gonna lie. Gabe has got flow, guys. Gabe has got some flow. Yeah. And I think it's just like kind of not even. I think he's just tapping into it too. It's like I don't know. You can spit some bars. Impressed.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, no, you're on deck. I got I don't know if Levi's still out there in the chat, but I gotta
Dynasty Yak?
yeah, yakety yak. I gotta hook them up.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm willing to wait patiently. I'm
Right.
completely fine with that. Completely fine with that. I don't even, yeah, I just wanted a yes. It doesn't even matter when, just a yes. Like I will wait my time. It could be
What famous movie was that Yakety? Was that Trains, Planes, and Automobiles? The Yakety Yak, Don't Talk Back song. It was on some famous classic movie. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know.
I think it was Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
Yakety yak movie.
dude, you have a gigantic chin, by the way.
Me?
Jake, yeah, you're like holding it.
Great outdoors.
Good boy, in that chin, dude. It's like freaking huge. I'm jealous of the chin. Strong jawline.
You
Man.
talking about Jake?
Yeah, bro. Look at that chin, bro. That's a strong jawline, bro.
Now I'm gonna be fucking super self-conscious about my chin now.
It's a good thing, bro. Like, women
no
like a
wonder I'm
strong
looking like
jawline,
this all
you
the
know?
time.
No, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Thanks, Joe.
Ladies love
Appreciate
the strong jawline, you know. I mean, I'm okay
And with that,
I'm fine with being honest. Guys. I speak my mind. You don't like that? You don't like the being honest part? Okay, fine. You have a fucking terrible chin.
No, if you could just regurgitate things from Twitter, it'd be great. We good?
Yeah, I think
we're
so.
good.
Good? J Mike, you good?
J Max, man, we gotta wrap this up.
J Mike's gotta go. All right, say your piece.
Connor's gotta take his
about-
medication, man.
Yeah, Connor, you first, pal.
What's going on? See you later.
No, well, geez, man.
Take your pain meds. He's got more pain meds than Matt Breida did last year. Like, dying over here.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm not gonna miss a soccer game.
yeah.
Here's where you tell us where we can find you, where the good folks can find you, what you're working on, all those wonderful things.
Oh yeah. Okay.
How the streets used to love you when you were Matrix.
And
Yeah.
if you
Before
are
wearing
thinking
ties and-
cadaver or synthetic for your ACL, I do want to know.
I'm thinking cadaver, and I'm probably gonna have a few articles coming soon. I might have like a draft prop article, kind of like what we were talking about. I hit on a few good ones last year, So I think I got some good confidence going into this year. We can make some money, and then I also have my post-draft dynasty ranks on Roto World. They're dropping soon, or after the draft, obviously. So
That was a good article, by the way.
thanks, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, so just find me on them Twitter streets, and it's about all I got.
Streets is watching.
Connor always puts out good stuff, man. He does.
True.
It does.
Yep.
Everything he puts out is good.
Yeah.
Except for his dynasty ranks. I'm just kidding, Connor. I'm just kidding. We talk about it all the
I
time.
had to set that up.
You got good ranks. I'm just kidding. It's like it's just messing with you.
Jake, exec producer, the EP, the big chin. Chinny chin chin.
I'm changing my handle to FF Big Chin.
Chin chilling.
Oh, come on, man. After what happened, you're
FF
gonna
Big Chin.
get upset
The
about
FF Man Bun and the FF Big Chin.
Big chin. See, I
gotta
think
try to keep
everybody
all
should have
the
fun
pain,
handles
man.
like that.
It's actually really smart.
That's a dope handle.
Big chin.
I think I'm just gonna change my name to that for a while, not the handle, but just the name.
Dude,
Yeah.
Gabe could make an awesome intro for that.
Just for my
Mr.
life.
Big Chin.
Not a
All I do
podcast.
is chin, chin, chin.
Just like a life theme song. But yeah, man, you can find me on Twitter at FF Big Chin. And I do rankings over at DLF. I don't really write much, but we have the Dynasty Crossroads podcast with our man Peter Howard. We record every Thursday night. And draft's coming up. I got some fun stuff going on next week. I'm going to do a post show with Paul Perticchese from Saturday to Sunday. And then I think we're going on to the Fantasy Joes for a second post-draft podcast. And then I think we're hoping to do the Dynasty Dummies day 2 draft coverage live during the draft. So you can catch me out there. That should be a bunch of fun. Like this time of year is just like Christmas. So love this process. Always enjoy, talking to you guys. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Big Chin.
Appreciate you.
FF Big Chin. Payno.
What's up?
Why didn't you say so?
So many words. I'm actually, very quiet, soft-spoken person. So I'm gonna make this short. No, you can find me on Twitter at Payno, Paeno. I'm gonna be doing some stuff for the Quant Edge DFS wise. I've been kind of laying low. Like I said, I've been reading a lot of good books lately. So I've been trying to.
What have you been
Like
into?
what? Yeah.
Oh no,
Reading?
Some
nothing.
examples?
Nothing.
Have any of these books had any effect on your life?
Yeah.
Or-
No. I mean, just it's purely
Just
like a lot
trying
of
to
fiction. A lot of
get
fiction.
inside your head, pal.
A lot of fiction. No, I've been just like working on some stuff. Like I don't really want to say it right now. So I'm working on some things, but I'm not really sure when I'm going to do it. So I'm kind of like just been coaching a lot of soccer. Just follow me when the season comes around, because right now I'm just doing the underground stuff. I'm grinding a lot of things like that, and just going to be working on some articles later. But right now I'm kind of laying low and reading some good fiction books. I'm just kidding.
This guy.
3 hours in, guys. I'm toast. I'm toast.
Fair.
Coming live from the underground. You don't want to read an excerpt from? Okay, J Mike. We're all starting to like hallucinate.
Yeah, so I'll try to get out quick. Real quick, shout out to the chat. Y'all were lit for almost 3 hours tonight.
Anderson FF.
Yeah, Wise hit you with the Jake Anderson.
Oh my God, he's back. He's still here.
Jake Anderson.
He sneaks in and just drops.
Oh shit.
Anderson FF. That's good.
I'm glad we have somebody else that can take some of the heat. That was good. That was good.
Oh my gosh, Ethan.
Dude.
Good deal. So,
Dude, we gotta get Waz back for. I'm not gonna lie, we gotta get Waz after all this. We gotta get him. Somebody got
They're
some
gonna
kind of dirt on him that we can get. Great.
thank you guys. Thank everyone in the chat for rocking with us and for the live YouTube show. If you're listening to this in podcast form, thank you. We are greatly appreciative of you rocking with us. But the live show on YouTube, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, every Tuesday, never late, always on time, always. You can find us on Twitter at the Open Bar FP. Again, at the Open Bar FP. You can find my better half on Twitter at FFManBun. That's Bun G, aka Gabe Gearing, aka Mr. Steal Your Theme Song. And you can find me on Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck as well. And once more, again, if you're listening on podcast form, go ahead and show us a little bit of love there. Share with a friend. Give us a rating or review. Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean. The list goes on, including Spotify. So again, thank you guys for rocking with us. Gabe, we are about a week and a half away from the draft. Almost there. Take us home.
And on and on and on and on and on. I can't stop thinking about Jake Anderson. That one's got me. All right, this has been too much fun. Thank y'all. I knew that we were gonna walk into something beautiful tonight. It's crazy. We basically went through every goddamn prospect.
We really did.
It's hard to find one that we left out. I guess if you get deep into it, between third, fourth, fifth round or something.
But on a serious note, though, I would not. We love our guests. We love all the people that rock with us. This group to be able to do it this way with this group right now, that's just hits me all in the feels. I can die now. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we're gonna hit on like once if you look back, like we're gonna have so many people that we hit on because we covered so many players. We would like take sound bites of like some of the takes, and we're bound to have some hits. So just remember this.
We
episode.
said this.
Yeah, probably some misses too. But let's just focus on the hits.
Yep.
Dawson Knox, Foster Moreau. Just wanted to get those names.
Any other last names that people want?
Kale Waring. Tight end sleeper.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We've got a store that we're gonna put Jake's chin on. We're gonna put a chin on his shirt.
It needs to be a wax figure, actually.
Just a slap of the chin.
The open bar with the chin is the O.
With the chin is the O. Yep.
If
on
you
a
could,
T, on a T.
You ever seen
On a
like
T.
those things where they like reverse, like make the chin the head? Like if you made Jake's chin like his head, like that'd be gold.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, so many things you can do with that. Waz, what the heck, man? That's way more exciting than my freaking fat face, That would have been way better. You can stretch that one out.
I don't think there's many things better than that picture though.
Oh, that's just hideous. Oh man.
But just to hit on what both of y'all are talking about right now, you wouldn't have been able to join in on the mayhem, the laughter, whatever it is, the jokes, the faces, especially if you're looking at it, without joining the live YouTube show and chat. So jump in with us. It's always a good time, and it keeps us going, and it gives us topics and whatnot. And it appears that y'all like to interact with each other, whatever the hell this chat is. But no, it's great. And seriously, go check out the store. Wubba Lubba Chub Chub is in full effect. My boy, my bae, Clint, I think just scooped him up in our trade addicts. Jake, so he's a smart man. What else, J Mike? We got a show next week?
We've got a show next week and the week after the draft as well. So yeah, we're getting it.
Really? Okay. That's pretty neat.
I'm gonna be recovering from this one.
Yeah. You sure you don't want to split this one over 2
I'm
weeks?
surprised you guys are like, I'm going to take a few weeks off.
Yeah.
It's already scheduled. It's already scheduled.
All right. Oh,
You're going to be like, guys, we're going to get you in and out of here in about 20
yeah.
minutes this week.
We're gonna have a show sheet next week.
We're going to do a 105 rookie draft and just send it home.
There's nothing left to be said. All right, that's it. Put your drinks up if you got one. If you don't, put a fist up. Do whatever it is that you're doing.
Cheers, y'all.
So good to be with y'all. Until then, we'll see y'all next week. Good luck in any drafts that you're doing, any rookie drafts. Don't do those yet. Wait till they're drafted in an actual location on a team. That's a good idea. Next week. Deuces.